Chapter 524, The Oncoming Storm, 3. On this mainland, a sect's strength was not merely judged based on the skills of the high-ranking executives but more by the heritage passed down from 1,000 years ago. For example, that divine beast was one piece of Yunshao sect's heritage, and even the Yunshao sect master might not be as powerful as this divine beast. From a certain degree, Yin Yang True Lord already represented an almost unparalleled force. Yunshao sect. They truly want to exterminate the entire Xuanling sect, an internal affairs elder sighed as he looked at the demonic beast which was large enough to cover the entire sky. Even the divine beast was activated, and Yunshao sect's intention to annihilate Xuanling sect was extremely clear. Elder Mo and the rest fell into silence as well. In just a while, a scarlet figure appeared. A scarlet nine-tailed spirit phoenix arrived slowly. Its eyes were filled with disdain as it glanced across the Xuanling sect people in the golden formation. An aloof and arrogant girl stood on the nine-tailed spirit phoenix. Yunshao sect's Yiyu, a Xuanling sect warden, frowned slightly. Yunshao sect's Yiyu was the sect master's most doted disciple. She possessed an extremely rare martial talent and possessed a blue spirit root. Currently, because her blue spirit root could automatically absorb the spirit energy in the air, her skills had improved extremely quickly. If Yi Qingtang were present, she would have sensed that the current Yiyu had advanced quite a fair bit from when she was on Drifting Cloud Island. Back then on Drifting Cloud Island, Yiyu was still at the first heaven of martial chi level 3, but in such a short span of time, Yiyu's cultivation base had already entered the early stage of the third heaven of martial chi level 3. In at most 15 minutes, more and more demonic beasts that ferried Yunshao sect elders and wardens arrived. On the back of the divine beast stood a young male. He appeared to be a little younger than 30 and had defined features, yet his every movement exuded destructive martial aura. Yunshao sect's internal affairs elder, the once #1 genius of Yunshao sect, Li Chenfeng. Elder Mo looked at that young male and frowned tightly. 10 years ago, Li Chenfeng was Yunshao sect's #1 genius, and 10 years on, he had already become Yunshao sect's internal affairs elder. It was evident that Li Chenfeng was no ordinary person. At that instant, many Yunshao sect disciples were standing in the air. There were at least 100 of them, and every one of them was Yunshao sect's elites whose martial skills were at least at the mid-stage of the first heaven of martial chi level 3. Boom! 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 Within Xuanling sect, the sound of the war drums was even more powerful, and every thunderous drum seemed to hit everyone's heart. Every Xuanling sect disciple retrieved weapons and dharma treasures that they favored from the treasure pavilion. Some of the inner sect disciples whose skills were higher wielded black-grade spirit weapons and were burning with fighting spirit. At this instant, Xuanling sect faced a calamity, and the treasure pavilion was opened up at no charge. Even though the disciples' skills were not as good as those of Yunshao sect disciples, the difference was made up with the divine weapons and dharma treasures. In contrast, although Yunshao sect disciples were skilled, Yunshao sect's treasure pavilion would never be opened to the disciples for free. Yunshao sect's envoy is here. Xuanling sect's grand elder better come out to pay respects quickly. At that instant, a Yunshao sect warden stood in the air proudly as he ordered coldly while overlooking below. Elder Mo sneered coldly. Why is the distinguished Yunshao sect visiting us? Your Xuanling sect is so audacious to injure my sect's disciples. Today, you all must give us, Yunshao sect, an explanation, the Yunshao sect warden said. Chapter 525, What is a sect? 1-0. Who is the disciple that you mentioned? The Xuanling sect master smiled. Too many to be counted, the Yunshao sect warden said. That's rare. We caught a spy not long ago named Fu Lingtian. He has been killed by us. There was one more person called Ning Luo and was saved by 2 of the Yunshao sect disciples. Were you talking about them? The Xuanling sect master said. Humph. Don't talk so much. Your sect has committed too many sins. You better open the protection array and hand over one disciple. The Yunshao sect warden shouted coldly. Oh. Which disciple do you want? The Xuanling sect master still smiled and asked. Yiqing Tang. What a joke. Why would I hand over my sect's disciple to you? The Xuanling sect master said coldly. Yiqing Tang of your sect has committed many crimes. She killed my sect master's disciple Yu Tiancheng and elder's disciple Li Jiwu. She even hurt 10 of my sect disciples, the Yunshao sect warden said. Everyone of the Xuanling sect was stunned after his words. Qin Huan's and Zhu Chang's faces were full of surprise. What joke is this? They want to frame junior sister Yi. Humph, what a joke. Yu Tiancheng and Li Jiwu both possessed the martial qi level 3 ability. How could junior sister Yi be able to kill them? Xuanling sect's disciples shouted in rage. Qin Huan and Zhu Chang'e stared at each other in confusion. They had witnessed Yi Qingtang's terrifying fighting ability. They could believe that Yi Qingtang managed to kill Yu Tiancheng and Li Jiwu. However, no one could confirm whether what the Yunshao sect warden said was the truth. Everyone knew clearly that whether or not Yi Qingtang killed any Yunshao sect's disciples, it was just an excuse. The Yunshao sect would not let go of the Xuanling sect. It was destined that the Yunshao sect wanted to kill everyone in the Xuanling sect the day they discovered Yunshao sect's secrets. Yi Qingtang was just an excuse. Even if the Xuanling sect handed over Yi Qingtang, the Yunshao sect would not stop killing the rest as well. Xuanling sect, we'll give you 15 minutes to hand over Yi Qingtang. Time starts now, one of the Yunshao sect's elders said coldly. It's not necessary. If Yi Qingtang really killed your sect's disciples, I will say that's an excellent kill. The Xuanling sect master's eyes were cold, and he waved his hand. Everyone was silent after he finished his sentences. Excellent kill. Soon, the Xuanling sect disciples broke the silence and shouted together. Excellent kill. Excellent kill. Excellent kill. Thousands of voices were like deafening thunder that exploded in the sky. It was the truth that the Yunshao sect wanted to kill everyone in the Xuanling sect. The fight was inevitable, and that made the Yunshao sect the enemy. Was it not excellent that Yi Qingtang killed the enemy sect's disciples? You deserve to be dead. Li Chenfeng, who sat on top of the Yunshao sect's divine beast, said his first few words. You deserve to be dead. You deserve to be dead. You deserve to be dead. The few hundreds of Yunshao sect's inner sect disciples shouted together. Today will be the fall of Xuanling sect, an elder of the Yunshao sect said, and a cold glint shone in his eyes. The sect master said that they must catch Yi Qingtang today no matter what happened. If not because of that, they would not have wasted so much time to talk to the Xuanling sect. Chapter 526 What is a sect? 2. What do we do when our friends come? Elder Huang of the outer sect shouted. We welcome them with the best wine. What do we do when our enemies come? We use our blood to soak Xuanling's flag. We use our heart to light Xuanling's anger. We use our hands to hit Xuanling's drums. Kill! 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 Thousands of disciples shouted together. The fighting spirit was so intense in their eyes that death was not something that they were afraid of. Kill everyone of the Xuanling sect. Li Chenfeng's eyes were full of disdain. He sat on the divine beast and commanded. Few hundreds of Yunshao sect disciples immediately dashed towards Xuanling sect. Boom! Weapons were waving in the sky and landed on the protection array of Xuanling sect. The golden rays of lights did not go out but were getting more intense. Even the smallest sect contained huge power and backups. If not, why would they establish the sect? The golden array formation was the protection formation of the Xuanling sect. It would not be easy even if a yin-yang true lord wanted to break it. The hitting sound of the weapons was heard above the void. Hundreds of Yunshao sect disciples combined their power, trying to break the protection golden array. However, only small ripples appeared on the golden formation. Xuanling sect has some power, one of the Yunshao sect elders said coldly. Swoosh. The elder flew downward and concentrated all his primordial chi at the golden formation. Oh. The elder was shocked as the golden formation was still intact. Please let the divine beast attack. The elder looked towards Li Chenfeng. Clank. The divine beast attacked with its beak instantly. It seemed to be the most terrifying weapon in the world and pecked towards the golden array formation. Boom. Boom. Ripples appeared constantly on the golden formation as the divine beast attacked. After a dozen attacks, the golden rays of lights seemed to be dimmer. The golden array formation was broken under the attack from the divine beast's beak after 10 minutes. Golden rays of lights filled the sky and dropped like golden rain. Kill. Few hundred Yunshao sect disciples rushed into the Xuanling sect the moment the golden array formation was broken. Turn on the heaven elimination formation. The Xuanling sect master shouted. A ray of illusory light appeared suddenly and formed into a net when he finished his words. It wrapped towards the Yunshao sect disciples. The few hundreds of Yunshao sect disciples sensed the terrifying power of the illusory light. Their faces suddenly changed, and they backed off. However, a few elite inner sect disciples of the Yunshao sect could not escape on time and were surrounded by the net. The illusory light chopped those elite disciples of the Yunshao sect into pieces at a speed that could be witnessed by the naked eye. Blood spurted everywhere. Heaven elimination formation. One of the Yunshao sect elders frowned. Turn on the earth killing formation. The Xuanling sect master commanded again suddenly. The ground at the Xuanling sect suddenly turned into a pool of blood at the next second. Hundreds of hands of blood condensed from the pool of blood. Before the Yunshao sect wardens and the elite disciples could figure out what was happening, they were caught by the hands of blood and dragged into the pool of blood. The pool of blood was like a swamp. Once someone sank into it, struggling would accelerate their death. Apparently, the few Yunshao sect disciples and wardens were not clear about that. They struggled to get rid of the pool of blood but eventually were submerged. One of the Yunshao sect elders tried to suppress the power of the formations after witnessing their terrifying ability. However, the Yunshao sect elder looked down on the power of the two formations. One of his arms was chopped off by the heaven elimination formation. Chapter 527 What is a sect? 3. Though the price was huge, the Yunshao sect elder managed to destroy the two array formations. Xuanling sect. I really looked down on their power and background. The elder who lost an arm gritted his teeth. The Xuanling sect had killed near 10 of their elite inner sect disciples, 3 sect wardens, and one of his arms before they even engaged in the fight. From what the Yunshao sect knew in the past, Xuanling sect's quality was the worst compared to that of the Wind Moon sect and the Qinglin sect. That was the reason why they thought that Xuanling sect's power and background was the worst as well. However, the Yunshao sect elders and the wardens realized that they were wrong only at this moment. Xuanling sect's power and background were not ordinary. Rare array formations like the Golden Formation, Heaven Elimination Formation, and the Earth Killing Formation could not be used by weak sections. Xuanling sect's power was definitely not the weakest in the 3 sections. It might be the strongest. After the 2 formations were destroyed by the Yunshao sect elder with the price of an arm, Yunshao sect disciples and wardens rushed inside without any concern. Kill everyone who intrudes the Xuanling sect. Feng Moli's body turned into a ball of red flame and dashed towards the Yunshao sect disciples. Whiz! 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 Those stronger inner sect disciples of Xuanling sect rushed along with Feng Moli towards the Yunshao sect disciples immediately. The voices seemed to be able to break through the sky and exploded beside one's ears. Feng Moli's ability was among the top 10 in the Xuanling sect. He was also one of the 10 core disciples of the sect. He had entered the second heaven of martial chi level 2 and possessed a fire elemental paragon skill. After the treasure pavilion was opened, he took out a dream fire elemental weapon. His paragon skill was strengthened by a few times with the weapon as the source. One of the Yunshao sect disciples moved swiftly and blocked Feng Moli's way. His cold eyesight landed on Feng Moli, and it was full of disdain swoosh. He pulled out his sword and slashed down towards Feng Moli. In almost a split second, Feng Moli's body turned into flames and spread out. The paragon skill. Some Yunshao sect disciples also paid attention over. The paragon skill was rare in the Yunshao sect as well. Only 2 people possessed the paragon skill. One of them was the Holy Lady Yiyu, and the other one was Ning Luo. When Ning Luo was on the undercover mission at the Xuanling sect, he purposely hid his paragon skill. However, the Yunshao sect knew about that. Once cultivators understood the paragon skill, it could compensate for the differences in cultivation levels. They could kill someone of higher levels easily. Now that Feng Moli possessed the Xuanling sect's fire elemental weapon, his power was too great to be defended. Scorching sun. Soon, flames concentrated in the air and reformed Feng Moli's body. He said the words softly and extended his index finger. Huge scorching flames were concentrated. The flames were like the burning sun in the sky. The flame dashed into the sky at the next second. It swiped through the sky swiftly, and the air seemed to evaporate under the high temperature. The Yunshao sect disciple frowned and tried to defend the flame with his sword. Boom! The sun-like flames exploded, and that disciple took a few steps back under the force. A few Yunshao sect disciples rushed over when they witnessed there was someone of the Xuanling sect who possessed the paragon skill. It's none of your business when junior brother Feng is in a one-on-one fight. A furious roar spread through the place, and a man used his physical power to hit one of the Yunshao sect disciples who intended to interfere away. Chapter 528 What is a sect? 4. The man was strong and wore a bamboo hat. There was a ferocious scar beside his eyes. Senior brother Yuanhu. His ability is the second in the inner sect. He has reached the peak of the 3rd heaven of the martial chi level 2. Many inner sect disciples were excited when they saw Yuanhu appeared. How dare you! One of the Yunshao sect's inner sect elites had eyes filled with anger. The Xuanling sect disciples' abilities could not even be compared to those of the Yunshao sect disciples, but they relied on the treasure and weapons of the Xuanling sect to increase their own abilities. Fierce bell. The Yunshao sect disciple threw a copper bell into the air. The small bell increased in size once it was released into the sky. It only took 2 breaths' time for it to be insanely huge. Deafening bell rings filled the sky, and the bell pressed down towards Yuanhu. The huge bell was also a Dharma treasure. Before the huge bell could press down, a huge cyan palm appeared in the sky. Boom! A deafening sound exploded in the sky. The cyan palm headed towards the huge bell, and they hit each other heavily. Yuanhu and the rest took the gap to step back and avoided the attack from the bell. The cyan palm was withdrawn by a young man after seeing that the Xuanling sect disciples had escaped. Mo Changkong. Senior brother Mo. The young man was handsome and sophisticated, but he was not dressed in a Xuanling sect disciple's attire. Many Xuanling sect inner sect disciples felt delighted when they saw the young man. They headed towards him. Sect Master, Mo Changkong is here. The young man held the cyan print and greeted the sect master. Good. The Xuanling sect master nodded. A smile passed his eyes as he stared at the young man. Mo Changkong was Elder Mo's son and the previous top disciple of Xuanling sect. His ability surpassed everyone else's, and he had left the sect many years ago. Now that the sect was in danger, he came back to help. Elder Mo felt rejoiced as he saw Mo Changkong. He was not only his son but also one of his disciples like Yi Qingtang, of which he felt most proud. Mo Changkong scanned around and looked at the Xuanling sect inner sect disciples. He wielded his hand. Kill. 10 of the Xuanling sect disciples headed forward instantly. Yun Shu, Lin Long, and Gu Yanqiu, together with the other outer sect disciples who remained, did not join the fight. They were in charge of helping those injured disciples. Ow! Large amounts of blood spurted out of one Xuanling sect disciple's mouth as he lay in front of Yun Shu. I'm sorry, Yun Shu gritted his teeth. He felt that he was so helpless for the first time as he saw the blood on his hands. Live. You must live, the disciple held Yun Shu's and Lin Long's hands tightly. It seemed that he used all his strength to finish the words. His arms fell to the ground as he finished his words. His eyes were still open as if he was not willing to accept his death. Lin Long's head was filled with the scenes of the disciples of both inner and outer sect gathering and celebrating yesterday as she witnessed the corpses around her. However, the beating sounds of the drum pulled her back to the harsh reality. Though Xuanling's sect had a lot of disciples, not everyone had weapons. The treasures and divine weapons in the treasure pavilion were limited. Disciples whose abilities were weaker were all willing to give the divine weapons to those stronger. Only those who were strong were able to exploit the divine weapons completely. There were quite a few injuries at Xuanling's sect, but the Yunshao sect also lost 10 inner sect elites. Chapter 529 What is a sect? 5. The leaders of the two sects did not move at all. The Grand Elder and the Sect Master stared at the divine beast of Yunshao's sect constantly. If they took a move first and did not manage to stop the divine beast, the consequences would be unimaginable. The Xuanling Sect Master gritted his teeth. It was not that they did not want to attack, they could not. The Sect Master's eyes were red as he saw those who died during the fight. He bowed to them, and that was the only thing he could do now. He felt so helpless and blamed himself constantly. The fight between the two sects could be compared to the ones among the dynasty. He could not do things based on his feelings, he could only bear with them no matter how painful they were. Feng Moli's body flew and was knocked onto a rock at one of the corners in the sect. Feng Moli slowly got up in the debris. Blood spilled out of his mouth. He was the renowned tyrant in the inner sect, but now, he was using his life to fight and to guard the sect. One Yunshao sect disciple who dressed in a white robe walked towards Feng Moli. His eyes were indifferent, and he held a yellow-grade weapon. The Paragon skill is strong. You could use it to block 300 of my moves, and it even killed my senior brother, the man said softly. Feng Moli gnashed his teeth. Swoosh! The man chopped his sword down at Feng Moli. A cyan sword glint appeared suddenly and hit the Yunshao sect disciple. He flew away under the force. Moli, are you all right? Zhu Chang'e went forward and helped Feng Moli to get up. Thank you, Feng Moli said. You should thank the black-grade spirit weapon in my hand. Zhu Chang'e smiled. Feng Moli sized the cyan sword up, and the sword released terrifying force. There were 10 black-grade spirit weapons in the treasure pavilion. The one in Zhu Chang'e's hand was one of them. How dare you! The disciple who was hit by the sword aura opened his eyes wide in rage and shouted. Swoosh! 2 Xuanling sect inner sect disciples took a leap and landed. There was one man and one woman. Both of them held black-grade divine weapons. The sword was pure black, and the knife was pure red. The knife and the sword chopped down at the same time and released dazzling luster. The forces combined and produced a super strong attack. Boom! The Yunshao sect disciple exploded into pieces under the force before he realized what was going on. Sun-scorching knife and the moon ice sword, so powerful, Feng Moli was totally shocked. The one holding the sun-scorching knife was the current top disciple of Xuanling sect, Han Qingyun. The woman was one of the core disciples, Su Xian. The sun-scorching knife and the moon ice sword are the strongest black-grade weapons in our sect. We could show the greatest power of the two weapons all because of our love, Han Qingyun said softly. Su Xin's face was slightly red. Only people whose hearts are connected can show the greatest power of the sun-scorching knife and the moon ice sword. Senior brother, Senior Sister Su Xin's and your abilities are able to use the weapons completely and pose threats to the elders of the Yunxiao sect, Zhu Chang'e said. Han Qingyun was the top disciple of Xuanling sect this year. His ability was comparable to that of Xuanling sect elders. Su Xin's ability was slightly lower but not by a big difference. When the two of them combined their powers with the yin-yang weapons, the Yunxiao sect disciples had no other ways besides death, as they did not possess any treasures and only their own cultivation skills. Chapter 530 What is a Sect? 6. Senior Brother Feng. Very quickly, Yun Shu, Lin Long, and a team of outer sect disciples hurried over. Lin Long and the rest rapidly cleaned and bandaged Feng Moli's wounds while Yun Shu took out a healing elixir for Feng Moli to consume. This was Xuanling sect's territory, and naturally, the sect would go all out in providing elixirs. After consuming the pill, Feng Moli's complexion turned a little better. Humph. Then, a cold scoff sounded from the air. The elder whose arm was chopped off previously brought a demonic beast that Yunxiao sect raised, and they descended into Xuanling sect. The demonic beast roared and barged into the crowd of Xuanling sect disciples, slaughtering a few outer sect disciples who were providing first aid. The inner sect disciples who were heavily injured were shocked. Before they could take out a Dharma treasure to counterattack, they were already torn into pieces by the demonic beast. Seeing that the Yunxiao sect elder with a severed arm descended from the sky with a demonic beast, killing a few outer sect disciples and severely injured senior disciples, the Xuanling sect inner sect elites in the surroundings felt their eyes redden. They charged forward at the same time and used the Dharma treasure in their hands, wanting to fight them with all their might. Get lost! The elder with a severed arm shouted sternly, sending a strange sound wave which had many ripples. Very quickly, the numerous inner sect elites stopped in their tracks at an instant and hugged their heads in agony. Blood flowed out from their noses and ears. Immediately, Elder Qin rushed forward with a blue gourd in his hand. In an instant, all the sound waves were dismissed by that blue gourd. Oh! The Yunxiao sect elder with a severed arm was slightly stunned to see the blue gourd in Elder Qin's hand. I said that. Xuanling sect's heritage is not bad, but I didn't expect that it would actually have such a Dharma treasure. Elder Qin did not bother with him as he looked at his surroundings and shouted with a frown. Where is the first aid team? After hearing Elder Qin, several outer sect disciples dashed over. Bring them down to treat them, Elder Qin said with a low voice. Yes. The leader of the outer sect disciples nodded and hurriedly ordered people to support those injured inner sect elites. We still can continue to fight. An elite disciple was unwilling to give up and struggled to stand up. However, with just a small action, large amounts of blood seeped out of his wound, and his complexion was as pale as paper. That's right. This small injury is not worth mentioning. At the sect's critical juncture, how can we? Another elite disciple used a sword to support himself up. Nonsense. Elder Qin waved a hand and cut their sentences short. Retreat down and heal your injuries. Yes. The inner sect disciples gritted their teeth and could only retreat with the support of the outer sect disciples. Hold on. Suddenly, an inner sect disciple stopped and looked towards a Xuanling sect disciple who was in battle. Senior Brotherly, receive the Dharma treasure, purple golden rod. With a shout, she threw the Dharma treasure in her hand to a Xuanling sect disciple. Many thanks. After catching it, Senior Brotherly was slightly shaken. He tightened his grip on the purple golden rod quietly, and a grateful expression could be seen on his face. Immediately, the injured inner sect disciples followed successively and threw their Dharma treasures to the inner sect disciples nearby. Senior Brother Wang, receive the Dharma treasure, Black Sky Seal. Junior Sister Zhou, receive the Dharma treasure, Demon Binding Rope. Junior Brother Lin, receive the Dharma treasure, Turquoise Heart Lock. The precious Dharma treasures were handed over one by one. After they saw the inner sect disciples catching their Dharma treasures successfully, those injured elite disciples finally retreated in disappointment. Chapter 531 What is a sect? 7. They only hoped that this force could help the sect, and that would be enough. At that instant, Elder Qin and that Yunshao sect elder with a severed arm were in a brawl. If based on their individual skills, Elder Qin was definitely not the opponent of this Yunshao sect elder. There was quite a gap in their skills. However, Elder Qin had the blue gourd. Die! The elder with a severed arm hollered as the frightening primordial qi in his body turned into a giant palm that flew towards Elder Qin. However, Elder Qin lifted his right arm, and the blue gourd emitted a blinding light. In the next second, the giant palm formed by primordial qi was actually sucked into the blue gourd. Back to you. Elder Qin scoffed as he released the giant palm from the gourd. The move that the Yunshao sect elder used initially was instead used by Elder Qin then as he returned the attack back at the Yunshao sect elder. Boom! Caught unprepared, the Yunshao sect elder was struck by his own attack and retreated a few steps continuously. A cold glint flickered in his eyes continuously. It seemed that they really underestimated Xuanling sect's heritage. However, once Xuanling sect was annihilated this time, all of Xuanling sect's treasures would belong to Yunshao sect. The gourd in your hand is indeed pretty good. Hand it to me on your own accord, and I will give you a straightforward death. How about that? The Yunshao sect elder with a severed arm looked at Elder Qin and snickered coldly. Come and take it yourself if you want it. There were no emotions on Elder Qin's face as a murderous look filled his eyes. Before waiting for the Yunshao sect elder to continue saying anything, Elder Mo suddenly drifted above them. Immediately, a word scroll was opened. There was only one word on that scroll, kill. As the jet black words on the scroll appeared, an ancient aura emerged. That is. Yi Yu, who was standing on the nine-tailed spirit phoenix in midair, frowned. This should be a paragon dharma treasure and a corner of the godly execution roll. I never thought it was actually obtained by Xuanling sect. The Yunshao sect internal affairs elder, Li Chenfeng, muttered. Paragon dharma treasures were the oldest and finest dharma treasures on this mainland, and the godly execution roll was a calligraphy scroll that contained the mighty power of a god, which was thought to have disappeared a long time ago. The word kill on the godly execution roll was coincidentally obtained by Xuanling sect's grand elder in a certain cave when he was training in his younger days. Swiftly, a horrifying killing intent erupted from the word. In an instant, blood spouted out from the mouths and noses of more than 10 Yunshao sect disciples as well as that elder with a severed arm. All of them collapsed on the ground at the same time and were enshrouded by the killing intent. They died instantly without any struggle at all. Strike. Li Chenfeng bent down and patted the back of the divine beast gently. Roar. The demonic beast whose body covered the sky finally moved. Its tail swept across and crashed down like a mountain peak. Many inner sect disciples looked up in the sky only to discover that that demonic beast which had the combat power of a yin-yang true lord had already attacked. A monstrous might descended from the sky like a destructive force and crashed down with a loud rumble. Seeing that there was nowhere to hide, those Xuanling sect inner sect disciples had a smile on their lips without any fear on their faces. They slowly shut their eyes as their blood-stained lips parted slightly to let out the last chant of their lives. We use our blood to soak Xuanling's flag. We use our heart to light Xuanling's anger. We use our hands to hit Xuanling's drums. Farewell. Chapter 532 Xuanling Patriarch 1, Boom. A sound resembling a natural disaster rang. With the sweep of the demonic beast's tail, numerous Xuanling inner sect disciples were crushed into pieces instantly. What remained was only the echoes of their once spirited cries before they died. They swore to exist and perish together with Xuanling sect. As that demonic beast finally struck, the Grand Elder appeared. At that instant, there was a huge gold coffin behind the Grand Elder. His steps were heavy and expression dark as he walked into Xuanling sect. Xuanling sect master and the internal affairs elders followed beside the Grand Elder. In no time, Elder Mo descended from midair as well. Boom! The gold coffin was placed down by the Grand Elder, and there was a tremor in the ground. Everyone stared at the huge gold coffin in confusion, with the Xuanling sect people, especially, wearing strange expressions. Swiftly, with the Xuanling sect people looking on in astonishment, the Grand Elder and Sect Master along with the several internal affairs elders knelt before the huge golden coffin. We are unfilial. We are unable to protect Xuanling sect well. At this moment, Xuanling sect is at the border between life and death. Please, Patriarch. Boom. As the Grand Elder spoke, the enormous gold coffin exploded instantly. Once the dust dispersed, a skinny elderly with white hair and a ruddy complexion was standing in the gold coffin silently. Patriarch. Seeing the elderly who walked out from the gold coffin, Xuanling sect master and the rest clenched their fists immediately. The powerful figures of the sect recounted in a tearful voice. It is our fault, for alarming you, Patriarch. Yunshao sect is bullying our Xuanling sect. Please give us justice, Patriarch. Elder Mo knelt on the floor, not daring to look up. However, that elderly who was donned in a long blue robe did not say anything as he looked ahead at Yunshao sect's divine beast without any expression. That person is. On the nine-tailed spirit phoenix, Yi Yu was slightly stunned to see the elderly walking out from the gold coffin. A look of astonishment flashed across her eyes. Xuanling sect's founder. Xuanling Patriarch. There was finally a cautious expression in Li Chenfeng's eyes. Xuanling Patriarch was born 2,000 years ago and was once one of the extremely powerful figures on this mainland. He was absorbed in martial arts and was unable to extricate himself from it. When he was 100 years old, he founded Xuanling sect himself and was the most powerful person in Xuanling sect history. He was known as the Xuanling Patriarch. The Xuanling Patriarch should already be dead. Yi Yu's brows were slightly furrowed. She was filled with confusion as she looked at the elderly who walked out slowly. Indeed. Li Chenfeng frowned, carefully sizing up that almost unrivaled elderly. His eyes flickered suddenly as he spoke. So that's the case. There is still a trace of vitality in his body. Before the Xuanling Patriarch died, he used a unique method to seal his final breath, so as to leave a last chip for Xuanling sect to protect the sect. This time, Xuanling sect encountered a calamity, and they ultimately invited the Xuanling Patriarch. In that case, the Xuanling Patriarch will not be able to sustain this appearance for long. Yi Yu's eyes flickered as she sharply caught the main point in Li Chenfeng's words. Since it was the final breath he sealed before death, it would not be able to sustain for too much time. Exactly. Li Chenfeng nodded. Yet, even though the Xuanling Patriarch would completely die after a while, his skills were unquestionable. Roar! Yunshao sect's divine beast roared furiously, and its giant tail swept at the Xuanling Patriarch. Chapter 533 Xuanling Patriarch 2. There were no emotions on the Xuanling Patriarch's face, and there was no change in the look of his eyes. Once the giant nine-tailed spirit phoenix's tail swept over, he vanished instantly. In the next second, however, he suddenly appeared on the back of the divine beast and came face to face with Li Chenfeng. In Xuanling sect, the Grand Elder felt repression in his heart as he looked at the back view of the Xuanling Patriarch. The Patriarch knows that he is unable to sustain for long and wants to defeat the enemy by capturing their chief. Thus, he is helping us to settle Li Chenfeng. With the Patriarch's last breath, he can only execute one move. Elder Qin said with a tight frown. Amongst all the people who came from Yunshao sect, only Li Chenfeng can control the divine beast. If Li Chenfeng is killed by the Patriarch, we can stop Yunshao sect. Xuanling sect master sighed. This was Xuanling sect's final card, and they could only put their all into the fight no matter what. On the back of the divine beast. Xuanling Patriarch is indeed powerful, Li Chenfeng said with a laugh as he looked at the utterly silent elderly. The Xuanling Patriarch was not mute, but he could not say anything at that moment, even if it was a single word. He had already burned out 1,000 years ago and only had one last breath in his mouth. If he opened his mouth and this breath escaped, he would be completely dead. He would definitely not speak before he helped Xuanling Sect to resolve the great danger immediately. The Xuanling Patriarch's hand moved towards Li Chenfeng. This move was extremely slow. However, Li Chenfeng's expression changed drastically, and a look of shock emerged in his eyes. The Xuanling Patriarch's hand accumulated a force that was converted by his final breath that had been sealed for a long time. Although it was extremely slow, it contained the great force of the world, and it was as though the sky would crack from his attack. At that instant, time seemed to stop. It was a dead silence. The world seemed to turn around from the Xuanling Patriarch's strike, and it was as if it could no longer operate properly. The attack was extremely profound and could no longer be described with words. Li Chenfeng was simply unable to move, and he could only watch the Xuanling Patriarch's hand approach him slowly. Boom! There was a loud rumble as though heaven and earth clashed. The palm finally landed on Li Chenfeng. As the palm landed, the great force finally faded gradually. There was a smile on Li Chenfeng's lips as he instantly turned into a talisman that was burned into nothingness. Xuanling Patriarch is indeed powerful. Li Chenfeng's voice sounded from behind. It was then that the Xuanling Sect masses saw that Li Chenfeng appeared in front of Yi Yu, and he stood on top of Yi Yu's nine-tailed spirit phoenix. Paragon Dharma Treasure. Substitute spell. The Xuanling Sect master was appalled and could not believe it. Similar to the godly execution roll, the substitute spell was also a paragon dharma treasure that could block a fatal blow. Unexpectedly, Li Chenfeng actually brought a substitute spell with him to Xuanling Sect to play safe in case Xuanling Sect had a strong treasure. How hateful! Elder Qin and other internal affairs elder were extremely indignant. Who could have expected that Li Chenfeng would actually have the substitute spell paragon dharma treasure? Xuanling Sect's inheritance is indeed beyond expectations. A smile appeared on Yi Yu's exquisite face. Towering above everyone with an elegant stance, sarcasm filled her eyes as she continued on. Too bad. No matter what, it cannot be compared to my Yunshao sect. Even though Xuanling Sect sought for all kinds of solutions, the opponent they faced was a super sect like Yunshao sect. Chapter 534 Xuanling Patriarch 3, What a pity. Despite inviting the Xuanling Patriarch out, you all still could not kill me. Li Chenfeng snickered at the Xuanling Sect masses. At that instant, a lonely figure on the back of the divine beast slowly turned into dust. He sealed his final breath and stored himself in a gold coffin, all to benefit the descendants of Xuanling Sect. He had long predicted that Xuanling Sect would face a calamity in the future. He initially thought that there would perhaps be a day when the descendants of Xuanling Sect would wake him up, and he would not hesitate to use his final breath to protect Xuanling Sect. In the coffin today, he heard someone calling him. He heard the Xuanling descendants that he had never forgotten about inviting him out of the coffin. However, the elderly looked down at Xuanling Sect with reluctance. Everyone. There was a trace of regret on his face. Sorry. Boom. The elderly completely disappeared into nothingness before everyone's eyes. As the Xuanling Patriarch's last breath faded, his reluctant eyes in his final moment touched everyone's hearts deeply. The Xuanling Sect disciples fell into silence. The Xuanling Sect master, Grand Elder, and the rest had a pained expression and felt ashamed for not being able to do anything. Xuanling Sect, what other heritage do you have? You might as well use them. Li Chenfeng returned to the back of the divine beast and looked down at the Xuanling Sect masses. Xuanling Sect had already used all their cards then, and even the Xuanling Patriarch was unable to kill Li Chenfeng. Since that's the case, annihilate them. As Li Chenfeng finished his sentence, the divine beast charged towards Xuanling Sect instantly. In the next second, the Grand Elder and Xuanling Sect Master along with the internal Sect Elders had already viewed death with equanimity as they welcomed the Divine Beast. However, two Internal Affairs Elders were already slaughtered by the Divine Beast just by coming face to face with it, while Elder Mo and the Xuanling Sect Master were flung away and spat large amounts of blood, unable to overcome the enemy. At this point, it was as though the Yunshao Sect disciples and wardens entered an uninhabited place. As the Divine Beast put on display its almost unrivaled power, Xuanling Sect was filled with dead corpses just like the abyss of Azura Hell. Junior Brother Zhou, help us to sound the Xuanling war drum. Mo Changkong told a disciple softly. Previously, the disciples who beat the drum had already died. Okay. With a determined expression, that disciple picked up the war hammer, walked forward with great strides, and beat the Xuanling war drum powerfully. Boom! 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 As the Xuanling war drum rang, Feng Moli, Mo Changkong, and the rest went against the current and charged towards the Yunshao Sect disciples. Before long, Qin Huan spouted a mouthful of blood and was flung away. Die! A Yunshao Sect disciple charged towards Qin Huan with a long sword in hand. Ha! What do I fear? The corners of Qin Huan's lips tugged up slightly as he closed his eyes. Suddenly, a demon-subduing pagoda appeared in midair. In just the blink of an eye, that Yunshao Sect disciple was killed from the impact of the demon-subduing pagoda which appeared from nowhere. This. Qin Huan stared at the large pagoda before him in confusion. In midair, a man in white with a righteous expression looked at Yunshao Sect coldly. Ji Yishuan from Falling Sky Valley. A few Yunshao Sect top disciples were surprised to see that young male. How dare a Falling Sky Valley disciple come over to the formidable Heavens dynasty to mind their Yunshao Sect's business? Previously, Xuanling Sect's Grand Elder had saved his life once. Upon learning that Xuanling Sect was met with trouble, he rushed over at top speed. Senior Brother Ji. Mo Changkong flew up to stand beside Ji Yishuan. Chapter 535 Arriving with Troops, 1, Junior Brother Mo. Ji Yishuan was a little stunned to see Mo Changkong. After leaving Xuanling Sect, Mo Changkong had been cultivating in Falling Sky Valley and was martial brothers with Ji Yishuan. Oh right. I remember that you were a Xuanling Sect disciple before you entered Falling Sky Valley, Ji Yishuan said after thinking a bit. Why are you here, Senior Brother Ji? Mo Changkong was puzzled. To repay a favor. Ji Yishuan replied. Xuanling Sect's Grand Elder had once saved Ji Yishuan very long ago, and Ji Yishuan was almost killed by Yunshao Sect a while back. As a result, he had been suppressing this anger for a long time. Ji Yishuan, you intruded into the formidable Heavens dynasty and killed my Yunshao Sect disciple. You have a death wish. A Yunshao Sect top disciple shouted sternly at Ji Yishuan. Ji Yishuan scoffed immediately. Formidable Heavens dynasty did not even forbid me from entering. What do you think you are, Yunshao Sect? Your sect sent someone to tail after and assassinate me a while back, and I have not forgotten about this. Now that we meet today, I'll just kill to my heart's content. Ji Yishuan had already returned to Falling Sky Valley and handed the regeneration stone to his master. Now, he no longer had any worries, and so be it if he died there. You're here to throw your life away, aren't you? A Yunshao Sect warden sneered. I dare not say I'm here to throw my life away. It is not a loss when I kill one person, but I profit by one person when I kill two people. I would naturally engage in this profitable transaction. Ji Yishuan did not have any fear at all. Then, Ji Yishuan did not bother with the nonsense and brandished the demon-subduing pagoda, charging towards the Yunshao Sect disciples. Presently, Xuanling Sect was already a spent force with countless casualties of high-ranking executives and wardens. The number of inner sect disciples who could fight was already less than 100. Flame God. Feng Moli shouted, and his body turned into a raging fireball as he rammed against a Yunshao sect disciple. Swoosh! Xuanling sect's top disciple, Han Qingyun and Su Xian, brandished the yin-yang weapons and inflicted heavy damage to a Yunshao sect warden. Yin-yang weapons. On the nine-tailed spirit phoenix, Yi Yu's eyes were ice-cold. Yi Yu rose immediately and flew towards Han Qingyun and Su Xian. 15 minutes later. After killing several Yunshao sect disciples, Ji Yishuan, Mo Changkong, and the rest were already heavily injured. Do you all still want to continue resisting? Yi Yu overlooked the Xuanling sect masses arrogantly. Her left hand gripped onto the yin-yang weapons while her right lifted two heads with eyes wide open. Senior brother Han. Senior sister Su Xian. At that instant, the Xuanling sect disciples were utterly shaken after seeing Han Qinjian's and Su Xin's heads. Yuanhu, Qin Huan, and even Feng Moli clenched their fists tightly as a fog emerged in their eyes. A man did not shed tears easily. Unless deeply hurt. Lin Long was lifeless as she gazed at Xuanling sect, which now resembled a Jura hell. The Xuanling war drum was already broken. The Xuanling war flag was already torn. The Xuanling disciples were mostly dead from the battle. But to Lin Long, it seemed that the Xuanling war drums never stopped ringing. The war flag was still held high while the disciples were still gathered together that night as they talked about life over wine, occasionally waving swords and learning martial skills from each other. There seemed to be heroic voices by her ears which seemed to be the loud cries of those unyielding Xuanling spirits that have lost their lives in the battle. We use our blood to soak Xuanling's flag. We use our heart to light Xuanling's anger. We use our hands to hit Xuanling's drums. No one in Xuanling sect could block Yunshao sect's divine beast. In less than half a day, Xuanling sect was filled with dead bodies. The Grand Elder, Sect Master, and other high-ranking executives were severely injured and had lost their combat capability, and more than half of the thousands of disciples were dead or injured. At this point, it seemed that the curtains were about to be brought down on this battle. However, at this moment, a screeching sound and roars of demonic beasts came from far away. Devilish red shadows seemed to cover the entire sky as blood-colored robes could be seen in the sky. 8 scarlet demonic beasts pulled a huge blood-colored carriage and appeared slowly. There was a frighteningly fierce air in the surroundings. Hundreds of sect members in red robes surrounded the blood carriage without any emotions. Dozens of blood-colored war horses hovered in the sky with an imposing bravado. Boom! 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 The war drums sounded once again. At this moment, the Yunshao sect masses were stunned as they looked in the sky. Even Li Chenfeng could not help but be taken aback. Blood Moon. Sect. Chapter 536 Arriving with Troops, 2, right above Xuanling sect, war drums sounded continuously with the galloping of millions of horses that resounded beneath the sky. As the blood-colored shadows enshrouded the sky, it seemed like the air of death was swept in together. The colossus that was annihilated 1,000 years ago appeared in the world once again. The sound of the blood moon godly drum that was almost forgotten persisted once again. 8 demonic beasts let out a terrifying roar as though the rage that had been accumulated for 1,000 years was about flood out. This scene finally caused one to recall the times that were almost forgotten. They were the ones who were once the kings of this world. The Xuanling sect masses were extremely shaken as they looked at the sect members in blood robes above the sky. There was an embroidery of a blood crescent which was Blood Moon sect's symbol on the blood robe. Blood Moon sect. The Yunshao sect disciples were stupefied and could not believe the sight. The words, Blood Moon sect, were a taboo on this mainland. 1,000 years ago, it was like a scarlet storm that engulfed this mainland as it toyed with the entire place in its hand. It actually is the Blood Moon sect. On the nine-tailed spirit phoenix, Yi Yu frowned slightly as she looked at Li Chenfeng. However, Li Chenfeng's brows were tightly furrowed like never before at that moment. The Blood Moon would reappear in 1,000 years. Whoever wields power shall not idle, as it is our great undertaking for immortality to wreak havoc over a jovial talk. Li Qinfeng mumbled. Back when the Blood Moon sect was annihilated by the combined forces of the sects on this mainland, the Blood Moon Holy Lord left these words behind and disappeared from the world. Suddenly, Li Qinfeng stared in disbelief at the blood-colored carriage that the 8 demonic beasts were pulling. Could it be that a certain important figure of Blood Moon sect, resurrected? 1,000 years ago, the Blood Moon Holy Lord stood in the sky and declared to the world that there would ultimately be a day when the Blood Moon would appear once again and wreak havoc. With the resounding Blood Moon sect war drums, perhaps it reflected what the Blood Moon Holy Lord once said. Blood Moon sect would eventually appear once again and paint the 9th heaven with blood. Tsk tisk. Blood Demon laughed so sinisterly that one's hair stood on ends as he scanned the surroundings. Yunshao sect seems to only know how to bully these small sections. What did you say? A Yunshao sect disciple shouted immediately. Upon hearing that, a blood-colored glint flickered in Blood Demon's eyes, and he landed on that Yunshao sect disciple in a second. Before that Yunshao sect disciple even knew what had happened, he turned into a pool of blood water and was absorbed by Blood Demon. This sight caused the Yunshao sect disciples present to gasp. Blood Moon sect. One of the 108 branch masters. Blood Demon branch master. Blood Moon branch masters were Blood Moon sect's core military strength, and every branch master's skills were unquestionable. Little kid. Blood Demon laughed coldly and subsequently returned to far away. You all. Upon noticing the situation, a few Yunshao sect elders immediately drew out their weapons. However, they were stopped by Li Qinfeng. Blood Moon sect shocked many in the world. It is a great honor to meet you all today, Li Qinfeng said with a smile. During Blood Moon sect's peak, they were a colossus, and even a super sect like Yunshao sect did not dare to offend them at all. If not for the fact that the Blood Moon sect was too powerful and arose fear in the super sects, which then combined forces to encircle them, it would probably still be extremely powerful today. Despite planting millions of spies and attacking them with a joint effort of hundreds of sects, the Blood Moon sect could still not be defeated. If not for the grudges between the Ultimate Elder and the Blood Moon Holy Lord, causing the Ultimate Elder to personally take action and attack the Blood Moon Holy Lord, the Blood Moon sect back then might not have been annihilated. Chapter 537 Arriving with Troops 3. Previously, something abnormal happened when sect disciples were out on missions, and it was only then did they sense that there was an indication of the resurrection of annihilated members of the Blood Moon sect. At that very moment, Li Qinfeng was unclear as to what the exact state of Blood Moon sect's recovery was, but he did not wish to casually offend the Blood Moon sect force before him. You know how to talk pretty well. Sitting on a blood-colored horse, the Blood Moon division head who wore a blood-colored armor sneered. Horror shone in Li Qinfeng's eyes as he stared at the Blood Moon division head. He had seen the portraits of the 108 branch masters and 36 division heads from Elder Chu before, and the elderly on the blood-colored horse was one of the 36 division heads. Could it be that Your Excellency is one of the Blood Moon sect's 36 division heads, Jiangqin division head? Li Qinfeng asked cautiously. Since you know me, hurry up and pay your respects then. A branch master looked down at Li Qinfeng. Ha! Li Qinfeng's lips curled up as his eyes landed on the blood-colored carriage seemingly. There is no hurry for that. I am just curious if the person in the carriage could be a Blood Moon elder. Elder? The Blood Moon sect members exchanged a look and erupted into laughter. That's right. There indeed is an elder. At that moment, the Blood Moon elder was accompanying beside the Blood Moon guardian, and Li Qinfeng did not say anything wrong. Witnessing the reactions of the Blood Moon sect members, uneasiness suddenly crept in Li Qinfeng's heart for some reason. Is there anything the Blood Moon sect wishes to see us about? Yi Yu suddenly spoke. A trace of caution could be seen on her delicate features. The internal affairs elder of your sect does not even have the qualification to speak to us. Who do you think you are? A Blood Moon Sect member shouted coldly. When the Blood Moon Sect was at its peak, when had they even cared about a super sect like Yunshao Sect before? That sentence was relatively impolite, and coldness set in Yi Yu's eyes after hearing it. Ever since she entered Yunshao Sect, she was the sect master's official disciple and was currently Yunshao Sect's holy lady. She had some status even in Yunshao Sect, and she had never thought she would actually be berated by a Blood Moon Sect member in public. Why do I see traces of viciousness in this young girl of Yunshao Sect? Could it be that you wish to attack us? That Blood Moon Sect member had a teasing expression. Ha ha ha. Hundreds of Blood Moon Sect members roared with laughter immediately. Yi Yu frowned slightly and looked towards Li Chunfeng, who, however, gave Yi Yu a look which signified to not act rashly. Let me ask you all. Why do you want to annihilate this small sect? Shuo Tianzong, who had a sword hung on his waist, simply could not be bothered with Yi Yu as he spoke indifferently. Ha! Li Chunfeng chuckled and looked at Shuo Tianzong, so it is Blood Moon Fiend's sword, Ni Tianzong branch master. Truth be told, there is some enmity between this sect and ours, and we started a war today. Shuo Tianzong had an indifferent expression. I'm protecting this small sect. After hearing these words, the high-ranking Xuanling executives, as well as Xuanling sect disciples, were in disbelief. Not mentioning the people from Yunshao Sect, even the Xuanling sect masses were utterly stupefied by Shuo Tianzang's words. The reason for Blood Moon Sect's sudden appearance was still unknown. Who would have thought that the Blood Moon Sect would actually say that they wanted to protect Xuanling Sect? You're protecting it? A warden from Yunshao Sect looked at Shuo Tianzong and sneered. On what basis? Chapter 538 Displaying One's Remarkable Prowess, 1, Clank. As a crisp unsheathing sound rang in the air, that disrespectful Yunshao Sect warden was split into two by the blood-colored sword light in the next second. Clank. At the same time, the sword was kept back into its sheath. On the basis of my sword. Shuo Tianzong was emotionless. Hiss. As the Yunshao Sect elites saw crimson blood spurting out of the warden who was sliced by the sword aura, they gasped in horror. No one saw Shuo Tianzang's attack. That man in a white top seemed to have stood in midair without moving throughout the entire time. The sword was unsheathed and sheathed in just a breath's time, and it was so quick that one could not distinguish his movements with their naked eye. In just a moment, the Yunshao Sect warden was killed there and then. Shuo Tianzong, a Yunshao Sect elder, was rather nervous. Rumor had it that amongst the 108 branch masters, Shuo Tianzong was nicknamed the Blood Moon Fiend's sword. His swordplay techniques were superb and had been extraordinary since 1,000 years ago. He was known as Blood Moon Sect's top swordplay master. Although he was a branch master, his skills were, however, unfathomable. That nine-tailed spirit phoenix is pretty good. Suddenly, an ethereal voice sounded from the blood-colored carriage that the 8 demonic beasts were pulling. Blood Demon immediately cupped his fists and bowed respectfully. I understand. Afterward, Blood Demon snickered devilishly and flew towards Yi Yu. Yi Yu was slightly taken aback to see a red shadow flying towards her. A cold glint flickered in her eyes as she said coldly, "You have a death wish." Yi Yu, who was standing on the nine-tailed spirit phoenix, smashed a hand towards Blood Demon. A playful expression appeared on Blood Demon's face immediately. There was something special about this Yunshao Sect girl. She was so young but had already entered the third heaven of martial chi level 3. Blood Demon rapidly disjointed his body and turned into blood water. Blood Demon mystical technique. Yi Yu kept her hand back. A blue light filled with a horrifying force of destruction floated into appearance around her. TSK TSK. Blood Demon laughed evilly. Even if she had a blue spirit root, he had no fear. Before Yi Yu attacked, the nine-tailed spirit phoenix beneath her was already covered in Blood Demon's blood-colored force. The nine-tailed spirit phoenix cried in fury and moved around, wanting to escape the bind. However, the blood-colored force was like a sturdy cage that could not be escaped from. Blood Demon pulled the nine-tailed spirit phoenix and flew forward. Yi Yu frowned. She could not do anything to Blood Demon right now. If she was led into the group of people by him, the consequences would be dire, so she could only give up on her nine-tailed spirit phoenix temporarily. At the thought of how she had never suffered such a humiliation ever since she entered Yunshao's sect, she glared at the blood-colored carriage coldly. Pulling the nine-tailed spirit phoenix, Blood Demon walked to the blood carriage in great strides before kneeling on a knee. "I've brought the nine-tailed spirit phoenix." "Good." The ethereal voice sounded from the carriage once again. As that voice sounded, an ash-pale girl with a crystal-clear body and delicate features slowly walked out from the blood carriage with an aloof expression. She reached out for the nine-tailed spirit phoenix. Her seemingly weak hand was gently placed on the back of the nine-tailed spirit phoenix. "Hoot!" The nine-tailed spirit phoenix shouted angrily, as though it did not allow anyone apart from Yi Yu to touch it. However, as the girl's hand touched the nine-tailed spirit phoenix, it turned blood red before everyone's eyes and no longer struggled in just a few breaths' time. "Blood Demon." The girl spoke softly. Then, Blood Demon let out an evil laugh and kept the blood-colored force that twined around the nine-tailed spirit phoenix's body. Chapter 539 Displaying One's Remarkable Prowess. 2. The nine-tailed spirit phoenix which turned red flapped its wings instantly and hovered in the sky, becoming a member of the Blood Moon sect. "My nine-tailed spirit phoenix." Yi Yu was shocked to witness her own nine-tailed spirit phoenix listening to that girl. Her master, the Yunshao sect master, personally sought this nine-tailed spirit phoenix for her, and it was extraordinarily precious. Yet, it was actually snatched by the Blood Moon sect members today. That girl is one of the 108 branch masters, Fiendish Demon. Li Chenfeng had a serious expression when he recognized the other party's identity immediately after seeing that she controlled the nine-tailed spirit phoenix. It was said that Fiendish Demon was transformed from a demonic beast, and it could control spirit animals and demonic beasts and even assimilate them. Currently, the nine-tailed spirit phoenix was already assimilated by the Fiendish Demon and no longer belonged to Yi Yu. "Come back," Yi Yu said gently as she looked at the nine-tailed spirit phoenix that hovered above the Blood Moon sect members. However, the blood-colored nine-tailed spirit phoenix glanced at Yi Yu without any warmth like before. Its eyes were cold and indifferent and even had a trace of disdain. "Blood Moon sect, what exactly do you all want?" A Yunshao sect elder shouted at that instant. "There are two goals for coming here today," Shuo Tianzong said. "Firstly, to kill our sect betrayer, Chu Zhongyang, and secondly, to annihilate Yunshao's sect." Soul-severing troll added on. "What?" That Yunshao sect elder clenched his teeth. "Don't push your luck, Blood Moon sect. There were hundreds of sects who annihilated your sect back then. Why must you all come at Yunshao's sect the moment you all appear and not other sects?" "What you said is right." Shuo Tianzong looked at that Yunshao sect elder apathetically. At that instant, the Xuanling sect masses were shaken as they looked at the Blood Moon sect forces in midair. This was the colossus that took over the world 1,000 years ago. As powerful as Yunshao's sect was, it, however, no longer had any attitude before the Blood Moon sect. In the blood carriage, the Blood Moon elder looked out and shook his head. "Xuanling sect really sustained heavy damages. If we came any later, I'm afraid it would already have been annihilated by Yunshao sect." A cold glint flashed across Yi Qingtang's eyes at that moment. She had already rushed over at the fastest speed. Yi Qingtang stood up and looked downward. It was haphazard in Xuanling sect. The disciples' corpses seemed to pile into a small mountain while the boundless blood reflected in her eyes like a flame that burned ragingly. Then, Yi Qingtang narrowed her eyes as she looked at Yi Yu not far away. That Yi Yu who personally snatched her spirit root away. Yi Qingtang's eyes flickered, but she did not give any orders to the Blood Moon sect members. She took a deep breath quietly and suppressed all her emotions, allowing her eyes to slowly return to a calm expression. She came today not to settle scores with Yi Yu but to rescue Xuanling's sect, and thus, she should prioritize the overall situation. With a Blood Moon sect division in action, the other super sects in Formidable Heavens dynasty would hear of it and rush over shortly after. She must save her sect from the misery in the shortest time possible. As for Yi Yu, they still had a long time ahead of them in the future, and she would slowly settle this score with Yi Yu. At that instant, Li Chenfeng glimpsed across the blood carriage that the 8 demonic beasts were pulling and asked, "I wonder who is in the carriage?" "You're not qualified to know." The Blood Moon Division head sneered coldly. However, as the Blood Moon Division head finished his sentence, the carriage door was suddenly opened. Chapter 540 Displaying One's Remarkable Prowess, 3, a flaming red figure stepped out of the blood-colored carriage slowly. In just an instant, it attracted the attention of everyone present. With a red veil covering her face, Yi Qingtang gradually walked into everyone's line of sight. The eyes that were exposed out of the veil were like a treasury of stars, revealing specks of coldness as they glanced across the masses. The Blood Moon sect members immediately separated into two sides when they saw Yi Qingtang walking out of the blood carriage. Everyone including Shuo Tianzang and Jiang Chen, a Blood Moon division head, successively bowed to the girl in a red veil with a reverent and respectful expression. Li Chenfeng was surprised. Previously, he only guessed that the person in the carriage was at the level of a Blood Moon sect elder, but now, the girl's appearance could actually make the Blood Moon division head bow in respect. The division head and elder had an equal position in Blood Moon sect. If that girl was a Blood Moon sect elder, the Blood Moon division head absolutely did not need to give her a full bow. Below, the remaining Xuanling sect disciples were extremely curious as they looked at the girl. Although Blood Moon sect had a well-known reputation, very few saw their true faces, and the curiosity of the sect disciples was inevitable. From the reaction of the Blood Moon sect masses, they could tell that the girl's identity and position were definitely not that of an average disciple. Could that person be? After the appearance of Blood Moon sect, Elder Qin, who had not spoken all this while, had a change in expression, and he looked at Elder Mo in front of him. Blood Moon sect's appearance pinned down Yunshao sect, allowing the Xuanling sect masses to heal their injuries. The condition of those heavily injured disciples was mostly stabilized, and the Xuanling sect master and grand elder had recovered quite a fair bit as well. Elder Mo was rather perplexed as he looked at the girl in a red face veil. For some reason, he felt that the pair of eyes and brows outside the veil were seemingly familiar. Could it be one of the 3 great Blood Moon sect guardians? The Xuanling sect master asked, flabbergasted. But it is said that the 3 guardians of Blood Moon sect were extremely mysterious and never appeared before anyone. Elder Mo was unconvinced that a Blood Moon guardian would appear. After all, those 3 guardians never appeared even when Blood Moon sect was annihilated back then. How then would they appear here today? Was it truly to protect their Xuanling sect? Just the thought of it was preposterous. However, as Elder Mo was guessing that, we pay respects to the guardian. In midair, the Blood Moon sect masses greeted uniformly in a loud and imposing manner. Elder Mo and everyone else in Xuanling sect were utterly dumbstruck. Everyone in Yunshao sect was even more astonished. The 3 Blood Moon guardians had never appeared before anyone since the founding of the sect, including when the sect was annihilated back then. Yet, unexpectedly, they actually saw an alive Blood Moon guardian today. You are a Blood Moon guardian. Li Chenfeng's body stiffened as he stared at the mysterious girl. A Blood Moon guardian was ranked just below the Blood Moon sect master and holy lord in Blood Moon sect. Their skills and rank were not one that a Blood Moon division head and elder could be compared to. Puzzlement emerged in Yi Yu's cold eyes as she stared at the Blood Moon guardian who was donned in a red robe that swayed elegantly in the wind. Although the Blood Moon Guardian's face was covered by a red face veil, the person's eyes were faintly familiar to her, and she seemed to have seen them somewhere before. Chapter 541 War 1. At that moment, Soul-Severing Troll walked forward and gently lifted and placed Yi Qingtang on his shoulder. Yi Qingtang stood on the shoulder of the giant-like troll proudly and gave her order immediately. This place must be bloodstained. A cold and cheerless voice traveled into everyone's ears. In the next second. Call! 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 Hundreds of Blood Moon Sect members shouted continuously. Call! Yi Qingtang waved a hand immediately. Swoosh! In almost a second, hundreds of Blood Moon Sect members turned into blood-colored shadows and flew towards Xuanling Sect. While the Yunshao Sect disciples were powerful, they paled in comparison to the Blood Moon Sect members. Moreover, more than half of the Yunshao Sect disciples sent were already killed by Xuanling Sect's heritage, and only around 30 people remained, making it impossible to put up a struggle against hundreds of Blood Moon Sect members. At that instant, the Yunshao Sect disciples in Xuanling Sect were no longer as arrogant and proud as before. With the Blood Moon Sect members coming after their lives crazily, the Yunshao Sect disciples fled in disarray. The Xuanling Sect disciples were dumbfounded at the sight and did not know what to say. They were initially a little worried that the Blood Moon Sect people would conveniently kill them along with the Yunshao Sect forces. After all, while that Shuo Tianzong said he wanted to protect Xuanling Sect, according to Blood Moon Sect's past temperamental style, it was impossible to make any judgments. However, this worry vanished into thin air very quickly. The Blood Moon Sect members did not attack Xuanling Sect. Their objective was very clear, and they only targeted Yunshao Sect such that they did not even spare Xuanling Sect an eye. The Xuanling Sect masses were even more BAF-led then. They initially thought that a disaster would befall on them, yet unexpectedly, the Blood Moon Sect appeared in the middle of nowhere. Li Chenfeng's brows were tightly furrowed. The Blood Moon Guardian actually gave an order to annihilate them. Little bitch, receive your death. Blood Demon cackled before turning into blood water and headed towards Yi Yu directly. Noticing the situation, Yi Yu's eyes were cold, and a horrifying breath of destruction emerged around her. Blood Demon possessed demonic blood powers, and he could disjoin himself and turn into blood water. However, Yi Yu never paid any attention to him. With her blue spirit root and paragon skill, she could kill the Blood Demon if she was given time. Blood Moon Guardian, is it impossible to end things nicely today? Li Chenfeng looked at Yi Qingtang. However, Yi Qingtang remained silent and looked back at Li Chenfeng with cold eyes, clearly having no intention to reply to him. Good. Since your Blood Moon Sect is so conceited, all of you will die here today. Li Chenfeng narrowed his eyes. He originally did not wish to fight against Blood Moon Sect, yet unexpectedly, the Blood Moon Sect wanted to annihilate them. If that was the case, a war it shall be then. Right after, Li Chenfeng gently patted the Sect Protector Divine Beast. Roar! In the next second, the Divine Beast roared in fury and charged towards Yi Qingtang. Roar! At the same time, the 8 demonic beasts roared angrily and charged out from both Yi Qingtang's sides. Several huge shadows flashed across and entered a brawl with that divine beast. Swoosh! A sword light shone and slashed towards Li Chenfeng. Li Chenfeng did not dare to be careless and used a remarkable technique to take refuge in the void, only reappearing after dodging that frightening blow. Shuo Tianzong. Li Chenfeng mumbled coldly as he looked at the youth who stood in midair with a sword wielded in his hand. Shuo Tianzong was highly ranked amongst the 108 branch masters. His sword Dao attainments were extremely high, and he was not easy to deal with. Chapter 542 War 2. Without saying anything, Shuo Tianzong turned into a ray of white light and slashed his sword toward Li Chenfeng, the youngest internal affairs elder in Yunshao Sect history. The divine beast was held back by the 8 demonic beasts and was assisted by the pale girl, who was nicknamed as the fiendish demon. Thus, it could not leave to help Li Chunfeng at the moment. Almost half of the Yunshao sect disciples and wardens in Xuanling sect were killed by Blood Moon sect. If not for the exhaustion caused by Xuanling sect's heritage, perhaps the Yunshao sect masses still could hold on for some time. However, under the powerful force of the Blood Moon sect division, the Yunshao sect masses retreated in defeat little by little and could not contend against their opponent. Boom! Blood Demon was flung out by the force of Yi Yu's blue spirit root. Subsequently, Yi Yu flew towards Yi Qingtang. Yi Yu did not become Yunshao sect's holy lady just because of her martial talents. Earlier on, Yi Yu faintly sensed that the Blood Moon Guardian's martial aura was not extremely strong. Thus, Yi Yu thought that perhaps this Blood Moon Guardian had just resurrected not long ago. Capture the ringleader first in order to capture all his followers. If she could capture the Blood Moon Guardian, none of the Blood Moon sect members would dare to make any moves rashly. Humph! Soul-severing troll scoffed coldly as he looked at Yi Yu, who charged towards them and threw a heavy punch at her. However, Yi Yu was extremely nimble. She stepped on soul-severing troll's shoulders and struck towards Yi Qingtang. Yi Qingtang's brows were furrowed when she saw Yi Yu coming for her, and she immediately shifted her body to a side. There was a lot of force in Yi Yu's strike, and even the wind from the strike was extremely strong. Although Yi Qingtang dodged the attack, the wind from the strike directly caused Yi Qingtang's blood-colored veil to fall. Looking at the face veil that drifted down, Yi Qingtang knew that there was trouble. However, it's your... The face that was revealed after the face veil dropped caused Yi Yu to be taken aback for a moment. Didn't the face before her right now belong to Yi Qingtang? How could it be Yi Qingtang? At that time, soul-severing troll roared in fury and forced Yi Yu to retreat with his powerful force. Yi Qingtang. Yi Yu withdrew herself and leaped away. Her detached eyes were fixed right on Yi Qingtang. Why did she not know that Yi Qingtang had become that so-called Blood Moon Guardian? In Xuanling sect, Elder Mo, Elder Qin, and the rest were in disbelief after seeing the face of the Blood Moon Guardian. No one would have thought that the Blood Moon Guardian was actually Yi Qingtang. Isn't that Junior Sister Yi? Zhu Chang'e, with his mouth agape, stared at Yi Qingtang, who was donned in full red that resembled Fre. Junior Sister Yi. Junior Sister Yi is Blood Moon sect's guardian. Qin Huan widened his eyes, suspecting if he was hallucinating. Impossible. How can Junior Sister Yi be Blood Moon sect's guardian? Yun Shu shook his head. There was definitely something off in this. Qingtang, why did you become the Blood Moon sect's guardian? The Grand Elder shouted towards the sky. After hearing his words, the Yunshao sect masses immediately looked towards Yi Qingtang. This person isn't a Blood Moon Guardian at all. She is a Xuanling sect disciple, Yi Qingtang. Suddenly, a Yunshao sect disciple who was once injured by Yi Qingtang shouted loudly. What? The Blood Moon sect division head, Jiang Chen, and all branch masters stopped their action immediately. Ha! Yi Yu's lips curled into a sneer. Blood Moon sect has a legendary reputation, but after seeing it today, it doesn't seem much. What do you mean? A Blood Moon branch master looked at Yi Yu with a frown. Chapter 543 Exposed Identity 1. Your Blood Moon Guardian is Yi Qingtang, a simple Xuanling sect disciple. More than that, she is from the same clan as me and is only 15 this year. Your Blood Moon sect was already annihilated 1,000 years ago. From the rumors, weren't all your guardians personally appointed by your Holy Lord? Why is it that, now? Could it be that anyone could also be a guardian of your Blood Moon sect? Yi Yu chuckled and subsequently looked towards Yi Qingtang. Qingtang, what exactly is going on? Why did you become a Blood Moon Guardian? At that moment, the Grand Elder led the other elders and flew to the sky as they looked at Yi Qingtang in astonishment. Is she really a disciple from your sect? Jiang Chen hollered. Of course. The Grand Elder nodded. Yi Qingtang stared blankly at the Grand Elder. Is the brain of this Grand Elder made of tofu? She risked her life and successfully pretended to be a Blood Moon Guardian with much difficulty, but in the end, it was all foiled by this Grand Elder. Initially, even if Yi doubted her, Yi Qingtang still had a way to lie her way through and allow the Blood Moon sect members to believe her. But now, even Xuanling sect's Grand Elder claimed that she was a Xuanling sect disciple. You. Jiang Chen turned around and glared at Yi Qingtang furiously. I already thought it was extremely strange previously. The 3 guardians of my Blood Moon sect never appeared before anyone. Why would it come to our division for no reason? Ha! So it is a fake one. Blood Moon sect truly made a big joke out of itself. Yi Yu lifted her chin as she sneered. This girl is extremely crafty and has a vicious nature. As a Xuanling sect disciple, she pretended to be a guardian of your sect as she wished to borrow your forces to attack my Yunshao sect and save Xuanling sect from its miserable situation. After hearing Yi Yu, the Grand Elder's expression turned weird. He originally wanted to continue saying something but suddenly changed his stance. Oh. I saw wrongly. You are not my sect disciple Yi Qingtang. You just resemble her a little. Amichum. She indeed is not my disciple Yi Qingtang. She does look rather similar, but upon closer inspection, one can tell that they clearly are 2 different people. Elder Mo echoed. I already said that she is not Yi Qingtang. You all still didn't believe me. It is time you all finally believe me now. Elder Mo added. Yi Yu glimpsed at the Yunshao sect masses. By changing your stance now, could it be that you all think Blood Moon sect would still believe you all? Subsequently, Yi Yu looked at the Blood Moon division head and smiled. Blood Moon sect has a legendary reputation. Don't be cheated by this devious girl. It would really become a big joke when both your sect and my Yunshao sect suffer an internecine outcome then. Yi Yu could tell from a long time ago that the Blood Moon sect attacked Yunshao sect today and protected Xuanling sect because of the orders of the fake guardian, Yi Qingtang. Now, Yi Qingtang's identity was already exposed. Then. Clank. Shuo Tianzong immediately sheathed his sword with a calm expression and no longer fought with Li Chunfeng. I thought there was something off about you from the start. Blood Demon looked at Yi Qingtang. Scoundrel. Jiang Chen hollered in fury. How dare this girl pretend to be a Blood Moon Guardian and incite them to come here and start a war with Yunshao sect? Fellow Blood Moon sect members, this person is Yi Qingtang, a Xuanling sect disciple. She killed and injured dozens of my Yunshao sect disciples, and she is currently wanted by our sect. Li Chunfeng withdrew himself from the battle and retrieved an arrest warrant with Yi Qingtang's face on it from a Yunshao sect disciple. Waving it around, he showed it to the Blood Moon sect members. Chapter 544, Exposed Identity 2, wasn't the girl on that arrest warrant Yi Qingtang, who was standing before them right now? At that moment, the Blood Moon Elder who had been staying in the blood-colored carriage was alarmed as he witnessed everything. It's over now. He thought to himself. You have a death wish. The Blood Moon Division head was enraged immediately and slapped towards Yi Qingtang. Nonetheless, Yi Qingtang was already prepared and retreated backward before he struck. The Blood Moon Division head was boiling with fury at that moment. If other divisions knew that they were fooled by a disciple of an ordinary sect, wouldn't he become the biggest joke in Blood Moon sect? Although it was unknown why the demonic water was ineffective on her, it was without doubt that this girl was fake given that Xuanling sect's Grand Elder and other high-ranking executives already had a slip of the tongue earlier. The more the Blood Moon Division head thought about it, the more furious he was. How he wished he could crush Yi Qingtang who fooled him with a strike. But before the Blood Moon Division head could vent his anger on Yi Qingtang, several figures suddenly appeared in midair, and hundreds of people came in just a few seconds. Yuehua Sect. Lingyun Sect, Yunshao Sect masses smiled as they saw the other sects coming. Similar to Yunshao Sect, Yuehua Sect and Lingyun Sect were super sects of formidable Heaven's dynasty. Among the forces that annihilated Blood Moon Sect back then, these two sects participated as well. Now that they suddenly came, it was probably because they heard of the Blood Moon Sect's appearance. Humph! The remaining evil of Blood Moon Sect. An elderly swept his eyes across the Blood Moon Sect masses and shouted coldly. Yi Yu took a glance and could not help but scoff in her heart when she saw that the sect masters of both sects arrived at the scene as well. She glimpsed at where Yi Qingtang was from the corner of her eyes and subsequently said to both sect masters, Yuehua Sect Master, Lingyun Sect Master, the remaining evil of Blood Moon Sect has appeared. Let's combine our forces and kill them all. Naturally, Yi Yu's words would not be rejected as the sect masters of both super sects were originally here to deal with Blood Moon Sect. They were aware of how powerful and influential Blood Moon Sect was back then. If Blood Moon Sect was allowed to resurrect completely, the hundreds of sects which participated in annihilating Blood Moon Sect back then would probably face a powerful enemy. Yi Qingtang was not surprised by the appearance of the other two super sections. She had expected all of this. Initially, Yi Qingtang's plan was to use the shortest time to completely wipe out the Yunshao Sect forces here and lead the Blood Moon Sect masses to flee from this place. According to her calculation, the other two super sects would not be able to reach in time. It was, however, a pity that she was ultimately just one step short of success. Yi Qingtang was extremely helpless. She was clearly just a step away. Uncontrollably, Yi Qingtang darted a look to the Grand Elder not far away. The plan was truly messed up by the Grand Elder. However, Yi Qingtang would not place the blame on the Grand Elder. After all, if it were her, she would probably react that way as well since she had never told the Grand Elder before this. Almost all of the high-ranking executives of Yuehua Sect and Lingyun Sect were present. It was completely different from Yunshao Sect's situation where they only had a few people left. Blood Moon Sect, you all didn't hide properly and even dared to appear so brazenly. You truly have a death wish. The Yuehua Sect Master roared sternly. Full of bullshit. The Blood Moon Division head scoffed coldly. You're still so reluctant to admit defeat even with death near at hand. Lingyun Sect Master waved an arm. Kill. As the command was given, the three sects attacked at the same time and charged towards the Blood Moon Sect members. Kill. The Blood Moon Division head was not fearful at all as he welcomed the battle. Boom. A war erupted instantly with thunderous rumbles exploding in the sky. Chapter 545, Blood Moon Holy Lord 1. At that instant, the Blood Moon Elder walked out from the carriage and looked at Yi Qingtang. Why did it become like this? Although he knew that Yi Qingtang could never be their Blood Moon Sect guardian, he thought that Yi Qingtang's identity as a Blood Moon guardian was definitely not fake. Otherwise, she would not have passed the demonic waters test. But why did things develop to this stage? Almost the whole troop was deployed from the two super sects, and this Blood Moon Sect division would definitely not be able to defeat them. He was afraid that all of them would be exterminated here today. Yi Qingtang did not loathe Blood Moon Sect. After interacting with them for a few days, she instead felt that the members had a straightforward personality. Although their character was strange, they were no evil villains. If this entire Blood Moon Sect division was destructed here today, Yi Qingtang's brows were tightly furrowed. A sense of helplessness arose within her as she watched the Blood Moon Sect members hold up with difficulty. She could not blame Xuanling Sect's Grand Elder for sabotaging her as the situation happened too suddenly, and the Grand Elder was completely unaware. It was, however, that her efforts would ultimately be wasted. Suddenly, the Blood Moon Division head retreated backward. His complexion was pale as he panted hurriedly. This malicious girl. The Blood Moon Division head gritted his teeth when he saw Yi Qingtang beside him. If Yi Qingtang had not pretended to be a Blood Moon Guardian, they would not appear in Xuanling Sect and fight with 3 super sects before recovering their primordial chi fully. However, before the Blood Moon Division had continued to say anything, he was completely stupefied. The pair of eyes that was initially filled with fury was instead replaced by a look of disbelief as he looked behind Yi Qingtang. A tall figure had appeared behind Yi Qingtang from some time ago. That tall and straight figure was like the pillar of this world, his symbolic silver hair tousled in the wind. On his flawless face, the blood-colored crescent at his glabella appeared devilishly charming. Holy! 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 Holy, holy, holy! The Blood Moon Division head stared at that godlike male with his mouth agape. His burly body quivered incessantly as he gulped. The silver-haired man ignored the Blood Moon Division head as he slowly raised his right hand and patted Yi Qingtang's shoulder gently. Suddenly feeling a tap on her shoulder, Yi Qingtang turned around instinctively. But when she saw the silver-haired man behind her, she was taken aback. Younger brother? Puzzlement filled Yi Qingtang's eyes as she looked at the silver-haired man before her. Wasn't this the cheapskate brother she picked up on the way that day? Why did he appear here? Younger. 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 Younger brother. After hearing the words, younger brother, from Yi Qingtang, it was as though the Blood Moon Division head turned into stone. What did this malicious girl who pretended to be a Blood Moon Guardian call that lordship? Younger brother. Younger brother. Division head. Seeing that the Blood Moon Division head had not returned to his senses after a long time, the Blood Moon Sect members and branch masters looked towards where Yi Qingtang was standing in puzzlement. In just a second, everyone was stunned, and some branch masters even forgot to counterattack and were forced backward by the powerful figures from the 2 super sections. After taking a clear look of the silver-haired male behind Yi Qingtang, the Blood Moon Elder who had been vexed by the current situation reacted the same way as the Blood Moon Sect members. His eyes dilated, and his body almost collapsed. That indifferent male was none other than Blood Moon Sect's supreme faith totem, the Blood Moon Holy Lord. The Blood Moon Holy Lord had graced them with his presence. Chapter 546, Blood Moon Holy Lord, 2, the man's silver hair swayed in the breeze. The blood-colored crescent on his glabella added an inexplicable devilish charm to his almost perfect face. His eyes were like an ancient well with still water as he scanned the scene, the corners of his long red robe rustled. The Blood Moon Division head, Jiang Chen, Blood Moon Elder, and others were completely stupefied as they stared at the silver-haired man, seeming to have already forgotten to breathe. Yi Qingtang looked at her cheapskate brother in puzzlement and was surprised by his arrival. Why did he run here at this dangerous time? Seeing that he did not react, Yi Qingtang could not help but call him again. Younger brother. Blood Moon Holy Lord stared at her blankly. As the Blood Moon Holy Lord appeared, the whole world seemed to have fallen into a dead silence, and there was not a single noise. Li Chenfeng's brows were slightly furrowed as he looked at the silver-haired male. After taking a close look, he was completely lifeless. It was as though a mountain range crushed his body, and fear eroded every part of him. Elderly. Standing in the air silently, Yi Yu was a little puzzled as she looked at Li Chenfeng. However, Li Chenfeng's lips only twitched, and he could not say anything. The Xuanling sect masses inspected the silver-haired man behind Yi Qingtang instinctively with strange expressions. Who is that fellow? Confusion was etched all over Qin Huan's face as he looked at the silver-haired man beside Yi Qingtang. I'm not sure. But looking at the crescent on his glabella, he should be someone at the level of a Blood Moon Sect elder. Feng Moli looked over as well and took a guess. Blood Moon Sect elder. The remaining Xuanling Sect disciples gasped immediately. Although an elder and division head had similar positions in Blood Moon Sect, an elder's skill was higher than that of a division head. Although a division head was the leader in a Blood Moon division, he would still require to seek the opinion of an elder when settling important matters. With a Blood Moon elder here, perhaps, it would be enough to reverse the crushing situation that Blood Moon Sect was in. Currently, the three super sects were attacking Blood Moon Sect from all sides. Although Xuanling Sect was temporarily forgotten by the three super sects, Xuanling Sect did not forget Yunshao Sect's purpose for coming here today. Once Blood Moon Sect was defeated, Yunshao Sect would naturally deal with Xuanling Sect. Then, it would be the arrival of the calamity. At this moment, they could no longer care about Blood Moon Sect's rumors. I can't tell anything from his aura, and I don't know what state he has reached. However, it seems that he should be someone of the level of a Blood Moon Elder. After scanning for a moment, Elder Qin told the Xuanling Sect Master and Elder Mo. There were 108 branch masters and 36 division heads in Blood Moon Sect, but there were only 24 elders, each possessing remarkable abilities. No one thought they could still witness a Blood Moon Elder after 1,000 years. Yi Qingtang had a strange expression as she looked at the cheapskate brother before her. She merely had a teasing mindset when she took him as her younger brother that day. Moreover, from her memory, her cheapskate brother was an ardent fan of Blood Moon Sect. With Blood Moon Sect appearing here today, it couldn't be that he obtained the news and purposely chased after the Blood Moon Sect all the way here, could it? Who are you? Then, a Yunshao Sect elder shouted sternly at the silver-haired man. Chapter 547, Blood Moon Holy Lord 3, the two super sects, Yuehua Sect and Lingyun Sect, were present currently, and this group of Blood Moon Sect forces would definitely be wiped out. Thus, there was no longer any fear of facing Blood Moon Sect. Looking at that silver-haired man, if he was not a Blood Moon Division head, he should be a Blood Moon Elder. But even if he was a Blood Moon Elder, his death was definite. However, the silver-haired man did not react after a long while. Roar! The Yunshao Sect Divine Beast roared in fury as it glared at the silver-haired man with its lantern-like eyes. Don't! Li Qinfeng muttered. Li Qinfeng was alarmed. Others might not know the identity of this silver-haired man, but Li Qinfeng did. 1,000 years had passed, and those who saw the Blood Moon Holy Lord in the battle had already passed on. However, Li Qinfeng saw a portrait of the Blood Moon Sect's Holy Lord by chance once, and the person on that portrait was exactly this silver-haired man before their eyes. As he looked at the bright red blood moon on that man's glabella, Li Qinfeng was even more sure of the other party's identity. However, 1,000 years ago, hundreds of sects combined forces in an attempt to annihilate the Blood Moon Sect. At the last moment, the Blood Moon Holy Lord appeared and slaughtered dozens of extremely powerful demonic beasts, with one of them being the mother of Yunshao Sect's Sect Protector Divine Beast. The Blood Moon Holy Lord had killed the Divine Beast's mother 1,000 years ago, and rage flooded the beast's eyes as it saw the Blood Moon Holy Lord today. The Divine Beast was long drowned in hatred currently and could not be controlled by Li Qinfeng. No matter how Li Qinfeng dissuaded it, there was no use. Roar! The Divine Beast let out an enraged roar once again, and its gigantic body charged towards the Blood Moon Holy Lord. In an instant, it was as though dark clouds covered the sky as a wild gust of wind stirred. Yunshao Sect's Divine Beast was extremely skilled and could be said to be unrivaled. The moment it struck, its demonic air swept throughout the place. Everyone only saw that, for some unknown reason, the Yunshao Sect Divine Beast was out of control and charged towards that silver-haired man. Upon noticing the situation, the Blood Moon Division head and others had a rude awakening and dashed forward quickly, wanting to stop the Yunshao Sect Divine Beast. Yet, the Divine Beast that was out of control was frighteningly powerful. With the sweep of a tail, the Blood Moon Sect forces were forced to retreat. The Xuanling Sect masses below were astonished. The sudden change caught everyone unexpected, and no one had the time to examine the reason behind the Yunshao Sect Divine Beast's behavior after seeing the silver-haired man. Right now, the Xuanling Sect masses were only worried about Yi Qingtang. Yi Qingtang was standing right in front of the silver-haired man. With the Yunshao Sect Divine Beast attacking the silver-haired man, they were afraid that Yi Qingtang would experience an undeserved catastrophe as well. Be careful. A pair of wings grew behind Yi Qingtang's back, and she immediately grabbed the Blood Moon Holy Lord's arm, wanting to bring him away from here. However, the Blood Moon Holy Lord remained rooted to the same spot, seeming to not have any plan to escape. Swoosh! In the next second, the Blood Moon Holy Lord took a step out and pulled Yi Qingtang behind him. Yi Qingtang was astonished. That was Yunxiao Sect's Sect Protector Divine Beast. A cold sneer could be seen on the faces of the Fengyue Sect and Lingyun Sect masses. They had not seen this silver-haired man before, but from his appearance, they reckoned that he should be a Blood Moon Sect elder. If he was at his peak, perhaps he still could have a match with the Yunxiao Sect Divine Beast. However, most of the Blood Moon Sect masses had just resurrected not long ago, and their skills naturally could not be compared to when they were at their peak. Thus, he was definitely not the Yunxiao Sect Divine Beast's opponent. Chapter 548 Blood Moon Holy Lord 4. Now that the Yunxiao Sect Divine Beast struck, it saved lots of effort for them. The elders and remaining disciples of Yunxiao Sect wore a proud expression when they saw their Divine Beast attacking. Their Yunxiao Sect's Divine Beast was extremely powerful. Even if another person at the level of a Blood Moon Sect elder came, it would be no big deal. That Divine Beast cried fiercely and attacked the silver-haired man with its golden beak. Fear arose in the hearts of the Xuanling Sect masses at the sight. Xuanling Sect's golden formation was broken by the Yunxiao Sect Divine Beast's beak. Who in this world could block an attack of the beak? However, the corners of the blood-colored long robe swayed, and the man's silver hair tousled in the air. An appalling scene played out in this world. There was no change in emotions in the silver-haired man's eyes while his face was still as cold as a glacier. Standing in midair silently, he slowly pointed out a finger towards that invincible beak. Boom! A frightening explosion erupted. In the next second, the sound of the explosion reverberated hundreds of miles around the area. Before everyone's eyes of disbelief, the silver-haired man used a finger and gently nipped the Yunxiao Sect Divine Beast's beak. Swoosh! The enormous body of the Divine Beast was flung several miles away instantly. Then, the Yunxiao Sect Divine Beast was rammed into an old mountain that was hundreds of meters tall. What followed right on the heels was a scene that rendered many speechless. The old mountain was crushed into pieces immediately, and countless of huge rocks fell like a rainstorm. The entire mountain turned into dust. The silver-haired man's expression was calm, and it was as though he had not done anything. At that instant, the scene was dead silent. It was as though everyone forgot to breathe, and only the faint throbbing of hearts could be heard. The smile on the Yunxiao Sect elders' faces froze completely before turning into expressions of indescribable horror and shock. Only Li Chunfeng shut his eyes as a look of suppression filled his face. Both Yuehua Sect and Lingyun Sect were overwhelmed with horror as they looked at that silver-haired man as if what happened was an illusion. Below in Xuanling Sect, the Sect disciples were dumbfounded. Their lips twitched and mouths opened, but not a single word came out. Xuanling Sect Master, Elder Mo, Elder Qin, and others were stunned and did not return to their senses for a long time. Yi Yu's expression changed immediately. The Yunxiao Sect Divine Beast was actually, by that silver-haired man, Yu. Shock was written all over Yi Qingtang's face as she looked at the imposing figure that stood upright and tall before her. Holy Lord! The Blood Moon Elder was the first to return to his senses as he rushed over rapidly and knelt before the silver-haired man. We pay our respects to the Holy Lord. The Blood Moon Division Head, Shua Tianzong, Blood Demon, and other branch masters greeted in unison with eyes filled with ardent worship, as they knelt beside the silver-haired man, Blood Moon. He is, the high-ranking executives of Yuehua Sect and Lingyun Sect were dumbfounded. Blood Moon Sect Supreme. Blood Moon Holy Lord, 1,000 years ago when Blood Moon Sect was attacked by the combined forces of hundreds of sects, the Blood Moon Holy Lord appeared at the last moment and swept the sects away by himself like a real god, making the powerful figures in the sects aware of the differences between a human and a god. Chapter 549 Blood Moon Holy Lady 1. That fear was deeply imprinted in their memories to the point that their descendants would have an unknown fear when they heard of the Blood Moon Holy Lord. If not for the Ultimate Elder's appearance in that battle which impeded the Blood Moon Holy Lord, the hundreds of super sects would have probably been long destroyed by the Blood Moon Holy Lord's hands 1,000 years ago. What was a true god? One that ruled the world with a hand. What was a true god? One that killed everyone who went against him. What was a true god? One that ignited generations of fear. When hundreds of sects combined forces and revolted, he wanted to exterminate all of the sects. When no one in the world could accept him, he wanted to massacre everyone. It was he who once made the Blood Moon War drum resonate throughout the world. It was he who once let the Blood Moon War flag fly high in the sky. It was he who ruled the world in the name of the Blood Moon Sect. Blood Moon Holy Lord. Yi Qingtang looked at the rather lonely back view of her cheapskate brother in shock. She originally thought that he was only an ardent worshipper of the Blood Moon Sect who claimed to be the Blood Moon Holy Lord. Never would Yi Qingtang have thought that the cheapskate brother she picked up on her way back was really the Blood Moon Holy Lord. She did not think that this Blood Moon Holy Lord would be so honest. Even if it was anyone else, they would most likely not believe him as well. He is the Blood Moon Holy Lord. How can it be? The Blood Moon Holy Lord disappeared for 1,000 years. Why would he reappear in the world? Quickly escape. Quickly escape. Run. After a long while, the hundreds of people from the 3 super sects were finally sober. His long blaze-red robe swayed. Although there was only one person before them, he was the pillar of this world, and the gap between them and him was an eternally insurmountable gap. In the eyes of the Blood Moon Holy Lord, the so-called super sect was no different from an ant. In just an instant, hundreds of people fled in all directions. However, a blood-red screen enveloped the place, and those powerful figures from the super sects who initially fled away in a flurry froze completely. Yi Qingtang looked into the red screen, where those powerful figures were still like a frozen image. The Blood Moon Holy Lord's indifferent eyes landed on the Blood Moon Division head before him. Name? The Blood Moon Holy Lord asked coldly. Replying, Holy Lord, I am one of the 36 division heads, Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen was agitated, and his face flushed. The Blood Moon Holy Lord nodded. Why did you want to attack her? The Blood Moon Holy Lord said. Huh. Upon hearing that, Jiang Chen quivered, and immense fear filled him. I don't know her identity. She claimed to be a Blood Moon Guardian. Jiang Chen was extremely nervous. Guardian. The Blood Moon Holy Lord looked at Yi Qingtang immediately. You didn't tell me your identity. Yi Qingtang mumbled as she shifted her gaze away guiltily. The Blood Moon Holy Lord was emotionless. Didn't I? He seemed to have indeed said that he was the Blood Moon Holy Lord. However, the Blood Moon Holy Lord had disappeared for 1,000 years and was a legendary figure on this mainland. How would she believe that he would be so blunt and reveal his identity without any concealment? All this time, Yi Qingtang thought that her sworn brother was a Blood Moon Sect fanatic and even thought to pull him back from astray one day. She would have never thought that he would actually be real. The Blood Moon Holy Lord's eyes were fixed on Yi Qingtang as though they could bewitch one's heart. Token, the Blood Moon Holy Lord said. Chapter 550 Blood Moon Holy Lady 2. What token? Yi Qingtang asked instinctively. Blood Moon Holy Lord stared at her. Suddenly, Yi Qingtang recalled that her sworn brother once passed her a blood token before he left. Is it this? Yi Qingtang took out the blood token from her space ring. After seeing the token in Yi Qingtang's hand, the expressions of Jiang Chen, Blood Demon, Shua Tianzong, and the rest changed immediately. That token was not any Blood Moon Guardian. It was. We pay our respects to the Holy Lady. Shuo Tianzong said first. I offended Holy Lady by accident. Please have mercy on me. The Blood Moon Division head's face paled, and his body weakened. In the Blood Moon Sect, the Blood Moon Holy Lady held a supreme position, and even the Blood Moon Sect Master was required to bow in respect when he saw the Holy Lady. However, Jiang Chen, Shuo Tianzong, and the rest could not understand why a dignified Blood Moon Holy Lady would downgrade her identity and pretend to be a Blood Moon Guardian. What exactly did she do that for? Blood Moon Holy Lady. Yi Qingtang looked at the blood taken in her hand and pointed to herself instinctively. Me? Aha, the Blood Moon Holy Lord said indifferently. Me? Yi Qingtang thought she heard wrongly and asked again. Blood Moon Holy Lord stared at her with a blank expression. Yi Qingtang was rather confused, and she was in deep thought. That day, she saved a man who fell from the sky and then, jokingly became sworn siblings with him and obtained a token. Immediately afterward, she became the Holy Lady of Blood Moon Sect from a sect disciple. She really did not know if she should say that her luck was too amazing or that the Blood Moon Holy Lord was too casual and did anything he pleased. It was the dignified Holy Lady of a sect, but he just gave it to her so casually. At that very moment, Yi Qingtang suddenly understood why the Blood Moon Elder could reach his initial position. Was this Blood Moon Holy Lord so casual in appointing people? Holy Lady. As the Blood Moon Holy Lady, why did you pretend to be a Blood Moon Guardian? This. Jiang Chen felt that he simply could not understand the Blood Moon Holy Lady before him. She was clearly already handpicked by the Holy Lord to be the Holy Lady, yet why did she still want to assume the identity of a Blood Moon Guardian? Even though the Yunshao sect disciples pointed out Yi Qingtang's identity earlier on, the Blood Moon Holy Lord was present at the scene currently, and Jiang Chen naturally believed his Holy Lord unconditionally. What Xuanling sect disciple or not? This was the Holy Lady of Blood Moon Sect. Below in Xuanling sect, Elder Mo's mouth hung ajar. His disciple, Yi Qingtang, was Blood Moon Sect's Supreme Holy Lady. Xuanling Sect's sect master, Elder Mo, and everyone else were stupefied as well. For a moment, they stopped thinking normally, their brains were completely blank. Their Xuanling sect had a Blood Moon Sect Holy Lady. The Blood Moon Holy Lady is my junior sister. Qin Huan looked at Feng Moli beside him with wide eyes. Feng Moli. Am I dreaming? How about you give me a slap on my... Qin Huan said. Pow! As Qin Huan finished his sentence, Feng Moli slapped Qin Huan immediately. Feng Moli. You were for real. Qin Huan touched his burning cheeks. Reality had proven that he was not dreaming, but wasn't Feng Moli's slap a little too ruthless? Blood Moon Sect's Holy Lady was really his junior sister. He was the Blood Moon Holy Lattice's senior brother. My junior sister is the Blood Moon Holy Lady. I am the Blood Moon Holy Lattice's senior brother. Qin Huan exclaimed. Similarly, Zhu Changge was very agitated and in disbelief. Chapter 551 Blood Moon Holy Lady 3. Suddenly, the Blood Moon Sect did not appear to be so frightening as to how it was described in the rumors. Today, if the Blood Moon Sect did not offer help, the Xuanling Sect might have been exterminated. The Blood Moon Sect was exterminated by a few hundred super sects together 1,000 years ago just because it was too powerful. It ruled the world, and every sect had to pay tribute to the Blood Moon Sect every month. The young geniuses in the world all worshipped the Blood Moon Sect. They wanted to join the Blood Moon Sect to follow the Blood Moon Holy Lord. It was a huge honor to have a look at the Blood Moon Lord. That was the reason why the martial culture of the sects declined slowly. More and more geniuses refused to join sects, and the sects would fall eventually in the long run. In the end, a few hundred sects combined forces and decided to exterminate the Blood Moon Sect. To this day, no one could say whether it was the Blood Moon sect that messed up the rules or the few hundreds of sects that messed up the orders of the world. The Blood Moon sect was called the Heretic sect for hundreds of years after it was exterminated. As the descendants who did not participate in the incident, no one knew the exact details. However, when everyone was still in shock, a thunder-like voice reverberated in the surroundings. Blood Moon Holy Lord, where are you going to run to now? As the voice was heard, a white-haired elder in a cloth gown appeared. Yi Qingtang was stunned as she saw the elder. She had met the elder a few days ago as well. When the Blood Moon Division head Jiang Chen and Shua Tianzang witnessed the elder clearly, they seemed to be facing their greatest enemy. The Ultimate Elder? Even the Blood Moon Holy Lord frowned. The Ultimate Elder waved his arm, and a ray of white light appeared in the sky, dashing towards the blood barrier. People of Yunshao sect and Lingyun sect suddenly returned to normal at the same time. However, their memories seemed to remain at the moment when the Blood Moon Holy Lord appeared. Run! One of the Yunshao sect elders shouted in fear. Yi Yu's face was cold, and she took a glimpse at Yi Qingtang unwillingly. She withdrew her sight when she saw the Blood Moon Holy Lord beside her. Hundreds of figures swiped through the sky and disappeared in the next second. What's the point of running away? The Ultimate Elder frowned and shouted. People of the three super sects had disappeared, and no one saw the appearance of the Ultimate Elder. A batch of cowards. The Ultimate Elder humphed. Are you done with chasing? The Blood Moon Holy Lord finally said something. Are you done with running? The Ultimate Elder smiled coldly. People of the Blood Moon sect stared at each other. No one dared to take a move without the words from the Holy Lord. Blood Moon Holy Lord, I stopped you from killing innocent people back then, and you wanted to kill me. You chased me for 500 years. You shouldn't forget about that, right? The Ultimate Elder said. Same for you, the Blood Moon Holy Lord said indifferently. Hee, it's lucky that I ran fast enough. If not, I would be killed by you. You mis-entered the Qi deviation 500 years ago as you cultivated the fiend's skills. You were not able to beat me anymore, and the wheel turned. From then on, I also chased you for 500 years. To be fair, you run faster than me back then, the Ultimate Elder said. Yi Qingtang was shocked by what she just heard. The Blood Moon Holy Lord and the Ultimate Elder disappeared for 1,000 years. And that was the reason. The two legends on this piece of land chased each other for 500 years respectively. This was another kind of romance. Chapter 552 Replenish for Prosperity 1. Today, I will kill you anyway to benefit the world. The Ultimate Elder's eyes flickered. He smashed his palm down towards the Blood Moon Holy Lord without any sign. Just the force of the palm seemed to be able to shake the entire earth. However, the Blood Moon Holy Lord did not bother to fight against him. He faded into the void and disappeared. Blood Moon Holy Lord, you cultivated the recurrent fiend skills, and that led to the development of the mental demons. If you still choose to run away, it will accelerate the development of your mental demons, and then you'll see whether you really enter the rebirth cycle. The Ultimate Elder gritted his teeth as the Blood Moon Holy Lord ran away again. He immediately chased after him. Holy Lord! The Blood Moon Division head and the rest were shocked. Yi Qingtang blocked their way when they were about to follow up. Holy Lady! The Blood Moon Division head Jiang Chen felt perplexed. Even the Blood Moon Holy Lord is not able to fight against the Ultimate Elder. Are you going to sacrifice yourself for no reason if you follow up? Yi Qingtang said coldly. But Shua Tianzang and Soul Severing Troll knew that Yi Qingtang's words were reasonable, but they could not be relieved. The Ultimate Elder had chased the Blood Moon Holy Lord for 500 years and did not succeed. Do you think he will succeed this time? Yi Qingtang said as she saw how disturbed the people of the Blood Moon sect were. Without giving them any chance to say anything again, Yi Qingtang waved her hand and said, "You should leave now." "Holy Lady, but..." The Blood Moon Division head still wanted to say something. "There's no buts. I order you as the Blood Moon Holy Lady, leave now." Yi Qingtang frowned. The super sects would return soon when they sensed the breath that the ultimate elder left. People of the Blood Moon sect would not have the chance to leave alive then. Yes. The Blood Moon Division head Jiang Chen had to listen to the order together with other branch masters. "Master, Grand Elder, please pack up and leave with me and the Blood Moon sect," Yi Qingtang said and looked towards Elder Mo and the rest in the Xuanling sect. However, the Grand Elder shook his head and sighed. "Qingtang, look at those disciples." Yi Qingtang scanned around, and there were more than a few hundred disciples with severe injuries. They treated the Xuanling sect as their home and decided to stay to protect our sect. They are injured severely, and they will definitely die if there is no treatment given to them. As the Grand Elder of the sect, how can I leave my family for my own safety? The Grand Elder sighed again. Elder Mo and the rest also shook their head upon hearing the Grand Elder's words. Though they would survive if they left with Yi Qingtang, what could the disciples do? As the higher-ups of the sect, how could they leave the disciples here and escape? Before Yi Qingtang could say anything, there were few hundreds of strong breaths approaching. It's the three super sects. They sense the remaining breath of the ultimate elder and are coming back, the blood demon said. "Holy Lady, can you pass me your token?" said a Blood Moon branch master who was an expert in array formation. Yi Qingtang did not hesitate and gave him the blood token. "Holy Lady, there is the divine power of the Holy Lord left in the token. I can use the divine power to create a barrier outside the Xuanling sect. That way, no one will be able to enter the Xuanling sect from outside, but people of Xuanling sect can go out anytime," the elder said. "Oh." Yi Qingtang was stunned slightly. So there was the Blood Moon Holy Lord's divine power left in the token. I hope all readers enjoyed the mass release slightly smiling face. Chapter 553 Replenish for Prosperity 2. However, the token will not be able to prove your identity as the Holy Lady after the power is used. Only our division will know. If you want to command the other division with this token, they may not trust you. The elder explained his concern. Her identity as the Blood Moon Holy Lady was only known by this division. Other divisions were not clear about that. That doesn't matter. Without the identity as the Holy Lady, I can disguise as the Guardian or the Elder as well. Yi Qingtang waved her hand. The lips of the Blood Moon Division head Jiang Chen and the Blood Demon shivered slightly as they heard what Yi Qingtang said. She was the superior Holy Lady of the Blood Moon sect, and she had to lower herself to disguise as the Guardian and the Elder. "Since the Holy Lady approves, I shall obey your command." The Elder lowered his head and created some kind of markings with his palms to force out the Holy Lord's divine power in the token. Swoosh! A ray of blood-red luster came out of the token and surrounded the entire Xuanling sect instantly. People of Xuanling sect, this barrier can only be broken by the Ultimate Elder and the Blood Moon Holy Lord. However, the divine power inside can only last for half a year. You should never leave the barrier. Once any of you leaves, it's impossible to return, the Elder said. Thank you so much. Elder Mo greeted with cupped fists. Xuanling sect will never forget the favor from the Blood Moon sect. Elder Qin also said. Thank you for giving us half a year to replenish. The Xuanling sect master's eyes were filled with joy. The resources in the sect were enough for all the disciples for half a year. Those injured disciples had hope now. I shall leave with junior brother Mo then, Ji Yishuan said towards the Grand Elder. Okay. The Grand Elder nodded. Ji Yishuan and Mo Changkong were disciples of the Falling Sky Valley in the Nine Knights dynasty. Apparently, they could not stay in the Xuanling sect. Furthermore, the Falling Sky Valley was not in good terms with the super sects of the formidable Heavens dynasty. It would be too late for them to leave once the super sects arrived. Holy Lady, I owe you 2 favors now, and I will never forget them. If there is anything I can help with in future, please ask. I will do anything for you. Ji Yixuan flew towards Yi Qingtang and said with cupped fists. It's all right, Yi Qingtang said. She heard more than once from Master in her previous life that Ji Yixuan was boring but honest and frank. He would never forget any favor, nor any grudges. Junior sister Holy Lady, Mo Changkong looked at Yi Qingtang with a complex expression. From the letters between him and his father Elder Mo, he knew about Yi Qingtang long ago. Elder Mo's letter was full of pride and fondness towards Yi Qingtang. However, he did not expect that Yi Qingtang would be the Holy Lady of the Blood Moon Sect. He did not know whether Yi Qingtang, as the Blood Moon Holy Lady, would admit him as her senior brother, as they had never met before. Senior brother Mo, we'll see each other again. Yi Qingtang smiled. The complex expression on Mo Changkong's face was replaced with joy upon hearing Yi Qingtang addressing him as senior brother. Ha ha ha, all right. I have never imagined that I would be the senior brother of the Blood Moon Holy Lady. It seems like I will have some connections with the Blood Moon Sect as well in the future. Chapter 554 Replenish for Prosperity. 3. There were plenty of rumors about the Blood Moon Sect, but people had never seen them before. Now, the Xuanling sect avoided the calamity due to the Blood Moon Sect's help. They started to neglect the rumors of the Blood Moon Sect slowly. Ji Yixuan and Mo Changkong looked at somewhere far away. The strong breaths of the hundreds of people were very close now. Junior sister, I shall leave with senior brother Ji now. I believe we'll meet again, as what you said, Mo Changkong said. Take care, Yi Qingtang said. Take care as well. Mo Changkong folded his fists. Lady Yi, I'm looking forward to meeting you again, Ji Yixuan said. He then disappeared with Mo Changkong. Yi Qingtang looked towards the Blood Moon Division head Jiang Chen and said, you should leave soon. Us? The Blood Moon Division head was confused. Holy Lady, aren't you leaving with us? Shuo Tianzong asked in confusion as Yi Qingtang did not seem to retreat. Yi Qingtang pondered as she had more important things to do. It would not be easy for her to get the Black Heaven water from the mystic realm based on the current condition of Xuanling sect. The array formation that Xuanling sect had used to protect the mystic realm was broken during the fight. The mystic realm did not belong to Xuanling sect anymore. Wind Moon sect and Qinglin sect, especially the super sects, would definitely rush inside and claim their ownership. Wuxia world. Xuanling sect's mystic realm was the source of inheritance. Normally, no one could enter besides Xuanling sect. But now, the situation was different. The Black Heaven water could help her spirit root to level up, and that was her initial intention to enter Xuanling sect. Now, she must get the Black Heaven water. No matter what happened, she needed to reach the mystic realm in order to get the Black Heaven water, Holy Lady. The Blood Moon Division head Jiang Chen called out to Yi Qingtang slightly as she remained silent. Yi Qingtang then pulled herself out of her thoughts and looked at Jiang Chen and the rest. I will not follow you. She made her decision. Huh? Jiang Chen was shocked. If anything happened to the Blood Moon Holy Lady, how could they face the Sect Master and the Holy Lord in future? Of course, the Blood Moon Holy Lord might just punish them according to the sect rules, however, Yi Qingtang had her own plans. Getting the Black Heaven water was just the first step. After that, she needed to go to the Nine Knights dynasty to find out her parentage. She did not have much time. The Xuanling sect was safe for now, but after half a year, the barrier would be useless, and the calamity would arrive again. The Yunshao sect would never let go of the Xuanling sect due to the secrets they knew. Yi Qingtang only had half a year's time. She needed to increase her ability to the level of a Yin-Yang True Lord within half a year. If not, Holy Lady, you should leave with us. How can we allow you to risk your life in the world? The Blood Moon Division head tried to convince Yi Qingtang with valid reasons so that she could return to the division with them. Yi Qingtang thought about that before. The remote place was full of dead breath. There was no vitality at all. People of the Blood Moon sect could refine the dead breath to restore their strength, but she could not. It would be a waste of time for her to go to the remote place. Don't say anything anymore. I have made my mind, Yi Qingtang said. Jiang Chen sighed as his holy lady insisted. Chapter 555 Replenish for Prosperity. 4. Since the Holy Lord had disappeared, the orders from the Holy Lady were a must to obey. As the Blood Moon Division head, Jiang Chen had no authority to force the Holy Lady to leave with them. He had to go according to her plan. Shua Tianzong, you shall follow the Holy Lady in the future to ensure her safety. The Blood Moon Division head Jiang Chen looked at Shua Tianzong after a while. That's not necessary. Yi Qingtang shook her head. Shua Tianzong was indeed strong, but as the Blood Moon Sect branch master, he would be needed by the division. Furthermore, she got too many things to settle. It would be inconvenient for him to follow her. Shua Tianzong appeared to be depressed when Yi Qingtang rejected the offer. It would a great honor for him to be able to follow the Blood Moon Holy Lady. I shall not insist since Holy Lady has already made her mind, Jiang Chen said respectfully. After a short while, the Blood Moon Division head Jiang Chen waved his hand at Yi Qingtang and led everyone back. The 8 scarlet demonic beasts pulled the huge blood-colored carriage and disappeared gradually. When the people of the Blood Moon sect were leaving, there was another figure that was trying to sneak away. You! Where do you want to go? Yi Qingtang smashed her palm down as the Blood Moon Elder was sneaking his way out. Pow! Yi Qingtang's palm landed heavily on the Blood Moon Elder's left shoulder. The Blood Moon Elder shivered and turned over immediately. He forced out an awkward smile and said, Holy Lady. Do you still have any orders to give? Yi Qingtang sized up the Blood Moon Elder in front of her. She appeared to be full of interest and said, weren't you always thinking about when you could finally kill me with one move? How could she not know the plans that the Blood Moon Elder had all the time? The revolving soul orb that he gave her previously must be part of his plan to kill her. However, the revolving soul orb fell into Elder Lin's hand by chance, and he was the one that took the full blast of the explosion. If not, she would be dead from the explosion of the revolving soul orb. The Blood Moon Elder's body trembled, and he almost fell to the ground upon hearing her words. The Blood Moon Elder pretended to comply the day when Yi Qingtang forced her to sign the contract, but he never stopped planning to kill her one day from that moment. However, the Yi Qingtang back then was just a Xuanling sect disciple. Now, she was the Blood Moon Holy Lady. He would never dare to have the same thoughts in the past anymore. Ha! 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 Holy Lady, I don't understand what you mean. The respect I have for you is heavier than the stretch of mountains, deeper than the ocean, higher than the giants. Yi Qingtang waved her hand in disgust to stop him from nagging and spurting out saliva. The change in attitude was so fast, and so did his skill of saying nonsense improve. It seemed like he deserved more than the position as the Blood Moon Elder based on his abilities. He could even be a guardian. My infatuation towards Holy Lady can be proved by the sun and the moon, by the heaven and the earth. Cold sweat started to appear on the Blood Moon Elder's forehead. Infatuation? Yi Qingtang frowned and showed an odd expression. No, my loyalty. The Blood Moon Elder changed his wording immediately. Loyalty? Yi Qingtang squinted her eyes. Chapter 556 We will meet again someday. 1. No. It's not infatuation nor loyalty. It's... The Blood Moon Elder was soaked in cold sweat, and his thoughts were rather jumbled. As he thought of his disrespect towards the Blood Moon Holy Lady, even if he had 1,000,000 heads and they were all chopped off, it would not be enough to redeem himself. Fear intensified within him, and in addition to being glared at by Yi Qingtang, he trembled continuously, and his mind was blank. It's what the heart thinks. All our hearts become one, do what the heart wants, two hearts beat as one. Yi Qingtang stared at him, startled. Did this old fellow lose his mind? I think you are working your heart out while your heart is startled. You shaking with fear means that you have a guilty conscience. Yi Qingtang was completely amused by the Blood Moon Elder. Holy Lady. Have mercy, Holy Lady. The Blood Moon Elder's face turned white in an instant. Did you want to say a heart of sincerity? Yi Qingtang had a teasing expression. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. The Blood Moon Elder slapped his thigh and nodded continuously. Holy Lady is right. It is a heart of sincerity. The heart of sincerity I have towards Holy Lady can be appraised by heaven and earth, the sun and moon. Before Blood Moon Elder finished speaking, Yi Qingtang waved a hand again and interrupted him as she stared at the Blood Moon Elder in curiosity. How exactly did you reach the position of the Blood Moon Elder? I don't know either. Puzzlement filled the Blood Moon Elder's face. Although I also felt that I could become a Blood Moon Guardian with my skills back then, the Blood Moon Holy Lord did not pay me any attention, so I could only be an elder. Finally, Yi Qingtang gave the Blood Moon Elder who was close to losing his mind a big thumbs up. You've won. In Xuanling Sect, Elder Mo and Elder Qin looked at each other. Wasn't that Blood Moon Elder their Xuanling Sect disciple, Zhou Chu? But thinking about it carefully, if Yi Qingtang could become a Blood Moon Holy Lady, there seemed to be nothing strange if Zhou Chu was the Blood Moon Elder. Although Xuanling Sect feared the resurrection of Blood Moon Sect due to the rumors previously, thinking about it now, Yi Qingtang did not do anything to harm Xuanling Sect and even led the Blood Moon Sect members here today, which prevented the tragedy of Xuanling Sect's annihilation. To the Xuanling Sect masses, the words, Blood Moon Sect, were no longer frightening as before. Rather, Yunshao Sect whom they had always revered wanted to massacre them. After this battle, the distinction between the righteous and the evil blurred in their hearts. What exactly was righteous? And what was evil? The Blood Moon Sect had countless terrifying rumors, but how many of them were started by the various super sects? The credibility of these rumors. Qingtang, why aren't you fleeing yet? Once more people from Yunshao Sect come, you will not be able to flee anymore. The Grand Elder shouted to Yi Qingtang. Qingtang, don't worry about us. Lingyun Sect and Yuehua Sect are reasonable sections. With the support of this array formation, Yunshao Sect cannot do anything to Xuanling Sect. Elder Mo looked at Yi Qingtang and said. Although Lingyun Sect and Yuehua Sect were known to be super sects just like Yunshao Sect, they were much more upright and honorable than Yunshao Sect. At least, Lingyun Sect and Yuehua Sect had no scandals of allowing the sect disciples to snatch others' spirit roots. With the appearance of Yuehua Sect and Lingyun Sect currently, Yunshao Sect would probably be suppressed by them from then on once they learned of the reason behind Yunshao Sect's decision to annihilate Xuanling Sect. Even if Yunshao Sect wanted to do anything, they had to relatively exercise more restraint. Junior Sister Yi, don't worry about us. Qin Huan, Zhu Changge, and other sect disciples shouted as well. Chapter 557 We will meet again someday, too, alright. Take care, everyone. Yi Qingtang nodded. She was aware of it as well. Although there was a huge difference between today's battle and what she imagined, at least the outcome was still not that bad and Xuanling Sect was temporarily saved. After sensing that the powerful aura of the three super sects was nearing, Yi Qingtang bade Elder Mo and everyone else goodbye before disappearing along with the Blood Moon Elder. Currently, Xuanling Sect was protected by the divine power of the Blood Moon Holy Lord and was extremely safe. Thus, there was no need to worry. On the contrary, Yi Qingtang offended Yunshao Sect completely. All of this, though, was Yi Qingtang's plan. Back when Xuanling sect had no other ways to survive, Yiqing Tang could only use herself to attract Yunxiao sect's grudge. Although it might not have worked, this method was all she could think of initially. However, Yiqing Tang and the Blood Moon Elder did not go far away. They held their breaths and observed in a hidden corner. In just a while, the three super sects returned. Hundreds of people stood in the air above Xuanling sect and scanned the surroundings. Where's the ultimate elder? Yuehua sect's sect master was puzzled. After leaving just now, he suddenly felt the ultimate elder's aura and knew that the ultimate elder was attracted over because of the Blood Moon Holy Lord's appearance. Although the Blood Moon Holy Lord was extremely powerful and unrivaled, the ultimate elder could pin him down. Thus, they no longer had anything to be afraid of. After returning, everyone realized that the Blood Moon sect members and Blood Moon Holy Lord had already disappeared. There was no trace of even the ultimate elder. It must be that after the ultimate elder appeared, he was locked in a battle with the Blood Moon Holy Lord. For powerful figures of that level, a battle would extend for thousands of miles. I guess we don't even know where they've battled to now, the Lingyun sect master opined after a deep thought. I never thought that the Blood Moon Holy Lord who has disappeared for 1,000 years would suddenly appear. Even the ultimate elder appeared as well. Today is really. The Yuehua sect master sighed. However, the Yunxiao sect elders including Li Chenfeng did not look too good. That Blood Moon Holy Lord inflicted heavy injuries to their Yunxiao sect's divine beast with just a strike, and the divine beast was still unconscious now. Originally, from Yunxiao sect's calculation, annihilating Xuanling sect could be easily done. However, unexpectedly, not only was Xuanling sect not annihilated, Yunxiao sect suffered heavy losses instead. Xuanling sect. Very quickly, the Lingyun sect master looked at the barrier protecting Xuanling sect and could not help but comment. Xuanling sect's heritage is indeed pretty powerful. The power of this barrier is extremely frightening, and there's simply no way of breaking it. I still heard that the Xuanling Patriarch appeared earlier. We had been belittling Xuanling sect all this while, Yuehua sect master said as well. The three sects were unaware that the place was enshrouded in the Blood Moon Holy Lord's divine power and merely thought that Xuanling sect's heritage was profound. The Yuehua sect masters switched the conversation to another subject quickly and looked at Li Chenfeng. Why did you, Yunxiao sect, come to annihilate Xuanling sect for no reason? The other two sects heard rumors that Yunxiao sect wanted to annihilate Xuanling sect and were a little curious. After all, Xuanling sect was only an ordinary sect. What reason would Yunxiao sect exterminate it for? It was, however, that they did not pay much attention to this matter and came here today only because of Blood Moon sect's appearance. Nonetheless, since they were there, they might as well voice their questions. After hearing that, Li Chenfeng and the other Yunxiao sect elders frowned instantly, and rather abnormal expressions appeared on their faces. Chapter 558 We will meet again someday. 3. They did not think there would actually be so many accidents in annihilating an ordinary sect. Not only did the Blood Moon sect appear, but the other two super sects were also attracted over as well. Yet, the real reason that Yunxiao sect wanted to annihilate Xuanling sect for must absolutely not be told to these two super sections. I'm afraid you all are mistaken. Just as the Yunxiao sect elders were at a loss of how to make up a plausible story, Yi Yu, who was beside Li Chenfeng, suddenly took a step forward and said slowly, the reason that we came to Xuanling sect today is because a Xuanling sect disciple killed several Yunxiao sect disciples and heavily injured dozens of disciples. Hence, we wanted Xuanling sect to hand the person over. Who knew that not only did they disobey our orders, they even protected the murderer and revolted as a group without giving our Yunxiao sect any respect. Such a disrespectful sect should, of course, be annihilated. A Yuehua sect elder scoffed. Xuanling sect is actually so presumptuous. The super sects simply did not care about ordinary sects as the difference between them was like a chasm. For a Xuanling sect disciple to kill a super sect's disciple, it was undoubtedly a case of the low-ranked offending the high-ranked. A super sect's dignity was offended, and Xuanling sect's protection was all the more absurd. Nonsense. Suddenly, Elder Qin shouted from below. Fellow Yuehua sect and Lingyun sect people, actually, Yunshao's sect came to annihilate Xuanling sect because we discovered their ugly face that has been kept hidden from the world. Shut up. Li Chenfeng glared at Elder Qin furiously. Shut up. Before Elder Qin spoke, Qin Huan suddenly stood up and shouted, the one who should shut up is you, this shameless old fellow. What did you say? A cold glint flashed across Li Chenfeng's eyes. Why? Do you want to scare me? Come and hit me. Qin Huan's left hand was on his waist and waved to Li Chenfeng with his right hand. Come in and kill me. Looking at Qin Huan's provoking stance, Zhu Chang'e, Feng Moli, and the rest were speechless. Xuanling sect was enshrouded in the Blood Moon Holy Lord's divine power, and no one dared to charge in. Yunshao's sect long wanted to annihilate Xuanling sect, and hence, Xuanling sect would not be polite to them at all. However, Qin Huan's provocation was truly savage. It vented their anger as well. Come over here. Zhu Chang'e echoed after Qin Huan and shouted loudly. You can come over here and kill us. Yunshao's sect masses clenched their teeth, but they were helpless. Speaking of Yunshao's sect scandal, the Yuehua sect master's interest was piqued. Why don't you say what scandal Yunshao's sect has? Yuehua sect master, Yunshao's sect possesses the evil technique of snatching one's spirit root. They placed their sect disciples in different sects and snatched the spirit roots of other sects' disciples. Elder Mo replied. What? After hearing the words, the expressions of the high-ranking executives in Yuehua sect and Lingyun sect changed immediately. Snatching others' spirit root was a martial Dao taboo. It was regarded as shameless by everyone in the world. After we discovered this scandal, Yunshao's sect came to silence us. Xuanling sect master replied. Rubbish. A Yunshao sect elder scoffed. You all must not believe these cunning people. How would our Yunshao sect commit such an evil act? Both Yuehua sect and Lingyun sect were in thought. Previously, they had already found the excuse that Yunshao's sect used to annihilate Xuanling sect a little superficial. After listening to Xuanling sect's argument, it did not seem like a lie either. Otherwise, why would Yunshao's sect bring such a large army and even deploy the divine beast just to get an explanation from a disciple? Chapter 559. We will meet again someday. 4. They could not only believe Xuanling sect completely as well since no one had any evidence after all. Moreover, Yunshao's sect and Xuanling sect were enemies, and the words of Xuanling sect disciples might contain some slander. Ha! This is a private issue between Yunshao's sect and Xuanling sect and has nothing to do with us. However, it better be that Xuanling sect is talking nonsense. If Yunshao's sect is truly like what Xuanling sect said. The Lingyun sect master sneered and stopped his sentence there. Before Li Chenfeng could explain, a shadow suddenly fell on the place. Almost instinctively, everyone gazed up in the air. A giant battleship floated in midair, where a man in white stood in it. Antiquity Palace? That person is Antiquity Palace's emissary, Musu. The three sects were extremely astonished. The Antiquity Palace was similar to the Blood Moon sect, except that the Blood Moon sect was evil while the Antiquity Palace was the leader of the righteous. Furthermore, the Antiquity Palace did not gather followers like the Blood Moon sect, and its palace lord was all the more mysterious. His skills were profound and unfathomable, and he rarely appeared before people. Including the people present in Xuanling sect, everyone guessed that the Antiquity Palace's appearance was probably related to the Blood Moon sect. Standing on the battleship, Musu swept a glance over the area below him. He had already reached here a long time ago and originally intended to bring Yi Qingtang away. Yet unexpectedly, the Blood Moon Holy Lord suddenly appeared. Thus, he did not dare to casually appear. What Mu Su never expected was Yi Qingtang actually becoming the Blood Moon Holy Lady. How was he going to mention it to His Highness when he returned? Lord Mu Su, Xuanling sect was speaking nonsense just now. Please do not believe it. Li Chenfeng's brows were tightly furrowed, as he did not know whether Mu Su heard what the Xuanling sect elders had said. However, Mu Su vanished quickly without uttering a word. Once the Antiquity Palace's battleship was gone, Li Chenfeng finally sighed in relief. He immediately looked at Xuanling sect with coldness filled in his eyes. This Xuanling sect has to be gotten rid of. Allowing them to live in this world is not a good thing to Yunshao sect. However, it was difficult to break the barrier above Xuanling sect, and this troubled him greatly. The sect protector Divine Beast was heavily injured and still required time to recuperate once it returned to the sect. There was simply no way it could continue to battle in a short time. Without the Divine Beast, it would be difficult to break Xuanling sect's barrier. As Li Chenfeng stared at the barrier, a slightly odd feeling arose in his heart. If Xuanling sect executed this barrier from the start, it would have probably been impossible for them to charge in. However, things had already reached this point, and Li Chenfeng did not continue to think further. At that instant, in a hidden corner. After seeing Mu Su passing by there, Yi Qingtang initially thought that the Antiquity Palace, as the leader of the righteous path, was there to rescue Xuanling sect from the misery, but she ultimately realized that she was overthinking. Holy Lady, let's go. We must not let Yunshao sect find us, the Blood Moon Elder said softly. Let's go. Yi Qingtang agreed, and the two of them disappeared. Not long later, both Lingyun sect and Yuehua sect left successively while Yunshao sect secretly ordered people to watch Xuanling sect. Although they could not enter the barrier, the Xuanling sect people could leave the barrier. If they did not watch Xuanling sect, all of the Xuanling sect masses would escape before long. It was Li Chenfeng's excessive worry this time. Many disciples in Xuanling sect were heavily injured and had to continue to be treated. Before those disciples recovered, the Xuanling sect masses would naturally not go anywhere. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.